Hold up. Yeah, I'm gonna start streaming because. Hello. Okay, we're excellent. Hello, everybody. Welcome to No, let me do that again. Hello, everybody. Welcome to State of Deception. We are live on YouTube, and I don't have my red background. I can't bother to keep turning on the red light, so you guys are just gonna have to accept that I don't have the red light on today. We got 177 people live viewing. Perfect. So that means that we've got a good amount of people today, and I'm assuming it's because I don't have the ban warning anymore, and also the Americans are awake. So hello, Americans. Let me know where you're chiming in from. What state are you in? Louisiana? Are you in Texas? Are you in Minnesota? Are you in Chicago? Let me know where you're chiming in from. Request if you want to join the live. We are live on YouTube. If you prefer watching on YouTube, you can check us out at State of Deception on YouTube. We're taking requesters, and we'd like the gifts as well. So what we're going to do today is, because we really want to hit our like target, if you agree, tap the screen to like the live, and if you disagree, tap the screen so someone can come and debate me, because we're taking debates. You see what the prompt says? The USA is better than the UK, and it's not close. Amelia says, can I join? So what we're going to do is, we want people to join, but we want the likes up. So let's say I'm going to put some strict targets now. Let's say every 3,000 likes we'll get a new guest on. So we want to run up the likes now to 3,000, and then we're going to get our first guest on. I think that's fair. Amelia wants to join, so tap the screen, guys, to like the live, and then we've got 3 people requesting now. In fact, let's get one person on now, and then the next guest will come on at 3,000 likes. So hold on a sec. Just want to make sure that our viewers can hear the guest. Just a moment. Hello.
Hi.
How old are you, please?
15.
Okay, I think you're a bit too young to debate, so I'm just going to drop you down. We did have some other requesters. We got about 100 people viewing lives. So let's get another requester up, guys. Try and 18 plus. I might accept 17, but we need 18 plus in general, because I can't debate someone that's so much younger. What's up?
Right, mate.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm 19, by the way, for you ask.
Oh, hold on. So do you want to present your case and whatnot?
Well, I was gonna ask you why you think that first, and then I'm just intrigued. I saw it, so I thought I'd ask.
Okay, so I think that the USA is better than the UK because it has everything that the UK has and more. The violence, the rate of violence is higher in general, but there's so many places in the USA that are safe, and the likelihood of you experiencing violence is so low that I don't think that that's something that you should use to judge whether you move to the USA, because if you move somewhere safe, then you're going to be better off by far. The healthcare system is much better in the USA. It's better. Privatization is generally better than socialism. It gives people more freedom, and life is what you make it, as they say.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with that. So with the violence thing, you're completely right. That's the same with everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
There's safe places and there's violent places. So I'm not disagreeing with that. With the healthcare, I do get what you're saying as well. Wait times in the UK can be very long. But at the same time, you can't get bankrupted for having a baby, for example, or breaking your leg and get choked a 20 grand ambulance fine. I know this guy who was in America, and he stepped on a nail, and he got given a $500,000 bill. And because he was traveling, he didn't have proper insurance for it.
What happened? What happened? Please watch the language, because I don't want to get the live ban. What happened when he stepped on the nail? He got some kind of medical condition from that, right?
So I don't know the whole story. It was my ex-girlfriend's brother. He was in America traveling, stepped on the nail. Ambulance was called, went there. Next thing, he was slapped with a $500,000 bill. So I don't know the full story.
So, but this bill wasn't simply for him stepping on the nail. It was something that happened as a result of that. And was it a bill to an insurance company, or was it a bill directly to him?
Like I said, he didn't have their healthcare because he was traveling, and the travel insurance that he had didn't cover it. So his dad had to pay for it. But my point with that is, if that happened in the UK, it's paid for. It's no issue.
No, he would have to pay in the UK as well if he's not a UK citizen.
No, but that's what I mean. But no, yeah, you're not wrong. But at the same time, not really. If he's traveling from inside the EU, you don't have to pay.
So you do.
So it's like
You do.
yeah. But again, I'm not completely done. But even like getting pregnant and having a baby in America, you can get slapped with a massive tens of thousands of dollar fine for it, just for using the room.
It's not a fine; it's a bill, right?
Well, yeah, fair enough. My wording was wrong, but yeah, go on.
Someone said Sverige. I actually watch that guy a lot. So the bill that you're talking about, you know that you pay it in increments. You don't have to pay it all at the same time.
I know, but that doesn't change the fact that you're still getting stuck with this.
No,
huge...
but like, just hear me out for a sec. So
yeah, okay.
You're not paying the bill all at the same time. So you know when you get billed for income tax and a massive percentage of income tax goes to the NHS, you don't pay that bill all at once. You pay it monthly, right?
Yep.
So what's the difference between paying a monthly bill to the government and a monthly bill to a private company?
Because, so say I'm paying taxes to the government and paying for the NHS. Yeah, that's true, but it's a small, tiny part of the tax that the government are taking for it.
No, it's not.
Let me finish, mate. I'll let you speak. So yeah, so it's not too massive though. Like it's an amount, but it's not a soul crushing amount. But then say I was an American citizen and I lived in America and I couldn't afford the really expensive health insurance rates, and something happened to me and somebody called an ambulance for me and I get sent there with a broken leg and they don't let me leave because my leg's broken and I have to stay for a few days and get stuck with a 40 grand bill. Yeah, I can pay it off in increments, but still, that is a huge amount of money, and you're going to be paying way, way, way more than I get taxed for the NHS.
No, so as a percentage of your salary, you would be paying more in the UK. The average UK citizen pays a greater percentage of their salary towards healthcare than the average American citizen. So that means that Americans can afford their healthcare.
What's your source for that?
I did the numbers myself.
What, can you tell me what numbers you used?
Yes, okay, I can tell you the numbers. So the numbers factor in the average health insurance premium that an American citizen pays, the tax contribution towards healthcare, so that's federal and state income taxes, contribution towards healthcare, then the average deductible, so the average out-of-pocket expenses that an American citizen has, and it works out that an American citizen pays more towards healthcare probably than any other country. I think it's the highest in the world, but because they also have pretty much the highest wages in the world, they pay a smaller percentage of their wages towards healthcare. So that means that Americans can afford the healthcare. And people always say, well, the number one cause of bankruptcy is medical bills. But the reason why the number one cause of bankruptcy is medical bills is that's how people get out of paying the bill. So you can get $1 million bill and then say, I can't pay it, and declare yourself bankrupt. And it affects your credit, but you didn't pay the bill. In other words, you actually got free healthcare.
So the only thing I have to say on that is I agree that the wages in America are higher on average, but that average is completely it's swayed a lot. The wage disparities in America are completely ridiculous. So we'll move on to this now because that's another point that are completely ridiculous. Some people earn pennies compared to others. The top. I know the numbers for the whole world, not America specifically, but I know it's a big contributor. But like the top 8 richest people in the world have most of the world's money, and a lot of it comes from America and China. To be fair, we'll stick to America. So the wage disparities are completely different. So yeah, you're saying percentage-wise, on average, people pay less, but that's because of all of the millionaires and the billionaires that live over there compared to the poor people. I'm just going to say it bluntly, the poor people who can't afford it, and when they get stuck with them, get destroyed. Whereas in the UK, if somebody is less well off and they don't earn as much money, they don't get absolutely crushed by medical.
So that's not how it works. If you can't afford healthcare in America, you will get something called Medicaid. So there's Medicaid and there's also emergency Medicaid. And with those, you will get things like maternity care, prenatal appointments, birth, that you wouldn't pay anything for that. So you get free birth if you're on Medicaid.
So who pays for it then?
The taxpayer. Oh well,
Exactly,
actually, it's
so-
not. Actually, it's not just the taxpayer. It's insurance companies as well. So, people's insurance, the amounts that people pay towards insurance, is used to also as contributions towards Medicaid.
I understand that, but I get, so say somebody's earning minimum wage and trying to support a family and can't afford insurance, which is the case for a lot of Americans. I can find numbers for you if you need them.
I've got them.
which is
Don't
the
worry.
case. So say they can't afford insurance. Do they still get the Medicaid? And if
Yeah,
so,
they get the Medicaid. It's income assessed.
Let me finish, please. So
You
if
just
they
asked me
do
a question.
get
I just responded that it's income assessed.
okay.
Yeah.
But so if they do get the Medicare, then the taxpayers paying for it anyway, which is the same situation in the UK.
No, that's why I just told you that it's also the insurance companies, and that's why I factored in the tax contribution towards healthcare. And when you factor in tax contribution towards healthcare as well, they're still paying a smaller percentage of their salary towards healthcare, and that's with the inflated cost. That's with the the insurance companies hiking up prices. That's with all of this amounts that. The disproportionate amount that goes towards medical research and funding pharmaceutical companies, and obviously most of the major pharmaceutical companies are American companies. So yeah, of course they're bleeding the people dry with their pricing and stuff. But even with all of that, people are paying a smaller percentage of their wages towards the healthcare system than they are in the UK, which makes sense because of course in the UK it's bureaucratic, which means that everybody's using the system, overusing the system. So it makes sense that they're paying a greater percentage.
Completely right with that. The NHS does get abused by a lot of people, and it's not a completely well thought out system. It's got its good points, but it's got its bad points as well. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that it's a lot more diversified. It's a lot easier for the average person to deal with it. If there's a poor person in the UK, it will cost them a lot less money, even percentage-wise, than a poor person in America. The numbers in America are completely...
It depends how you look. Yeah, if you're poor in the UK, you get the NHS, but you still have to pay for certain things, like depending on if you've got like universal credit or whatever. But you might get charged for medicine, you might not. It's a small fee. In the US, hold on. In the USA, in the USA, the income assessed Medicaid covers virtually all the things that the NHS covers and more. So you also get other things. Now, some things are not covered by Medicaid, granted, but majority of things are covered. You can also get medical bills written off by the state, and you can also declare bankrupt. So you can actually get a medical bill and not pay it. Let me ask you a question, for example.
Sorry, let me just say this before we go. But declaring bankruptcy isn't just an American thing. You can do it anywhere. And the whole thing about your point of Medicare just completely gets rid of your whole point about us paying for the NHS, because if that comes from taxpayer money anyway, then it just means nothing. If
I explained that it comes from insurance companies as well. It comes from employers.
No, I understand that, but you also said the taxpayers, which is the part that I was mentioning.
Yeah,
Sorry,
okay.
What was your question?
Okay, so my question is, did you go to university?
No, I didn't.
Okay, do you got friends that went to university, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I have friends in university at the moment.
Okay, and they presumably took out a student loan.
Yeah.
Do you think that's bad?
Not necessarily, because in the UK we have the system set up so they don't have to start paying it back until their wage goes over a certain threshold. So say they don't get a job straight out, they don't have to pay interest on that money or pay the money back until they start earning a certain amount of money. So it won't cost them.
In principle,
a lot less money. It's $9,000 a year in the UK to go to university.
Yeah, but I'm saying in principle, do you think that it's wrong that somebody has to take on debt in order to get an education?
No, not for university. University is a complete choice. You can choose to do uni, you can choose to get a job, you can choose to do a degree apprenticeship. If you want to go to uni and you need a student loan for it, that's your own choice. And like I said, we have a good system set up to cover for it. So.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if it's not wrong to take on debt to get a university degree, why is it wrong to take on debt for your life to be saved?
Well, that's different though. You're choosing to take on debt for.
Okay, why is it wrong to take on debt to get a mortgage?
Let's
say a mortgage.
Let me answer, mate. Like you said, You asked me a question, let me answer. So when you go to university, you're completely making that choice for yourself. You're not forced to.
Okay, let's use the example of a mortgage.
So let me finish speaking, mate. But if you're in America and you get injured, you don't have a choice. You have to do it. You have to take on that debt. But in the UK, you don't have to because the NHS.
Yeah, okay. Let's use the example of a mortgage then. Is it wrong that you have to take on debt to get a house?
No.
So why is it wrong that you have to take on debt to get healthcare?
But I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying that in the UK, you don't have to do that. But
why is that a good thing?
You don't have a choice.
Why is that a good thing?
Why is that a good thing? Because who wants debt? Like, there's a difference between good
there are people that want debt.
There's a difference between good debt and bad debt.
There are people that want debt depending on what the debt is for. Surely let me finish. That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying to you that surely, if the best reason to take on debt would be to save your own life, right?
Okay.
So taking on debt to save your life, yes, it does. You're not listening.
Still go into debt.
You're not listening. That's the problem. You keep talking over me. You're not listening. Taking on debt to save your life or to improve your health is better than taking on debt to get a house, or better than taking on debt to get an education. So you can't just act like debt is only bad when it's in the medical system. I know you're saying not necessarily that it's bad, but you're implying that it's better in the UK because people don't have to take on debt. But debt is a tool that can be used for people to get what they want and pay for it later, or even write it off and not pay for it at all. So you're not explaining why it's bad that people are able to take on debt to get the best healthcare in the world and pay for it later. You're muted, by the way, if you want to respond.
Oh, yeah, I thought you muted me, to be honest.
I did, but it unmutes after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, but also, why are you muting me and trying to not let me speak?
Because you kept talking over me when I was trying to make a point.
You talked over me first, I was in the middle of something.
I've let you speak.
I'm going to be honest, I ignored all of that when I saw I was unmuted, so you can say...
Oh, you should have listened. Okay, let's get someone else up. Someone said there's absolutely no one with a smile on their face in the UK. That's funny.
Yes. How you doing?
What's up?
I totally agree that the UK is very miserable, and the USA is way better. So I'm not a disagreeer.
You said you're gonna wait. Sorry, you disagree with the prompt, or you agree?
No, I agree. I just came up to say I agree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, tap the screen to like the live, please, if you agree. We're looking for people that disagree, who want to debate, who are willing to actually go tit for tat and listen when
okay, cool, bro.
other opinions presented. But thank you, appreciate it. We got 170 people roughly in the live. We got people requesting. Sam's requesting. Sam, you can come back on after this person if they speak. Can you hear me? We're live also on YouTube at State of Deception. What's up? How old are you? How old are you, my friend? Oh, unfortunate. Popstar Chloe says, please follow me. Oh, is this like a bot or something? I think this is a bot. Yeah, it's like a Korean bot. Thank you for liking the live. Okay, let's get to some of the comments. UK is so much better than USA. Do we even have to explain why? Well, it would be good if you could explain why. I think people have given explanations. None have convinced me, and I've been doing this for like a few months now. So I know it's a matter of opinion, but I also think that a lot of people are delusional. The schools are the public schools that are paid for by the state. Okay, what's your points on USA being better? I think it provides more human freedom for the average citizen. There's more opportunity, more economic opportunity, more things to do. The healthcare system is much better. And the thing is, a lot of the things that rank lower in the USA, other than violent crime is definitely higher percentage-wise, but a lot of the things that rank lower are like public, like, oh, the public healthcare is, the public education is worse. It ranks worse. The public this ranks worse. The public that ranks worse. But the thing is, it's more of a private system. So if you want things, you kind of have to pay for them. But then it's much easier to make money. So it's just more of a system of freedom where you can get the things you want if you pay for them. But in the UK, it's more like you can't get the things that you want unless daddy government lets you have them. Lydia said, it's not better though. The US healthcare system is just as crap, to be fair, and expensive as hell. It might be expensive for a UK citizen, but it's not actually expensive for the average US citizen because they can afford it. Do you live in the USA? Not quite yet. 404 frame, I think, referring to the UK, says sad people, sad weather, sad wages, just terrible. Yes. Healthcare is better in the UK than the USA. That's a good one. Jack said leaving the UK in 2 months. Jack, it'd be good to speak to you and let know a bit more about where you're going and why you are going. Charlie says, imagine stubbing your toe and having to pay $8,000 for it. Yeah, imagine that happened. It doesn't happen, does it? Unless you get some kind of serious ailment from stubbing your toe. I mean, get health insurance, and I'm pretty sure you'll be covered for stubbing your toe. It's not about what you say; it's about what we could be in the poverty of the country. Sorry, I didn't understand that. Do America offer a university apprenticeship free of fees to get a degree? I don't think that the UK offers that either. I think you'd have to get a student loan. I mean, are there some kind of free apprenticeship programs or something like that? I actually brought you up, and I didn't hear no debating from you. So I'm inviting you back on if you'd like to come and speak. I'm hoping that you're over 18. The UK does offer that the government pays the loan off for you. Oh, interesting.
Okay, the UK
is that a thing?
better than the USA.
Okay. How old are you, by the way?
18.
You're what?
18.
I didn't hear the number before the teen.
19.
Oh, thank you for enunciating that time.
Okay, nearly 19.
Nearly 19. Oh, sure. Okay. So, what makes you think that the UK is better than the USA?
Wait. Okay, so the UK is better than the USA because first of all, Trump is the leader of the USA, and he's literally a racist. First of all.
Ah, have you met him? And he told you he was a racist.
No.
So why do you think he's a racist?
Bro, be for real right now. Everyone knows that flipping Donald Trump's racist.
Why do you think he's a racist?
I know.
No. Why do you? Okay. Why do you?
Literally black as well.
Why do you know he's a racist?
Because he literally said speeches before that are literally racist.
Such as what?
Against women as well.
No. Stay on the racist. What did he?
Against
What
women.
What did he say? What did he say that was racist?
I don't know.
Are you a boy?
No.
Oh, you're a girl. Why? Like
I've got
what?
a deep voice, bro.
Why do you think it's okay to falsely accuse people?
Not falsely accusing.
I don't like that. I don't like people that falsely accuse people just because they're
I'm not falsely accusing.
people that falsely accuse people just because they're in the public eye. That's not nice, is it? Just because he's the president doesn't mean he deserves to be falsely accused.
Trust me, when you go over there, you could get shot then.
Just because he's the president doesn't mean that you should be falsely accusing him. Your parents should have taught you that.
You obviously know nothing about politics.
Your parents should have taught you to not falsely accuse people without being able to
quite right,
substantiate your allegations.
Anyways.
Stupid point. We have Sama. Trump is better than Sama. Yeah, I agree with that. Trump is a tired old orange man, and he is orange. He is a man. He seems kind of like got a bit of pep in his step for his age. I don't know if he's a tired old man. He's probably kind of tired living all them years. The UK needs a Trump-like leader. That's an awful argument. I think Trump is a good leader. I probably would be able to fix a lot of the problems in the UK, to be honest. Have you heard what Trump said about his daughter? Oh God. Reform 2029 thoughts. I don't think that reform has the answers, the solutions for the UK. Oh my God! I got another one of my fans, ZW. She's got a crush on me. She's come because she has a crush, so she's come to support me. Man, that's great. Reform is the only one talking sense right now. Are they really talking sense? Like, what are they saying that's so sensible? Z's has got a crush on me, guys. I'm so happy. What's up, Jack?
Good, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I'm leaving the UK in 2 months, bro.
Why?
I mean, why not? 25 years old. I think the last couple years, as kind of an economical point of view, has gone downhill massively. I mean, I have friends and stuff like that looking to buy houses and can't get approved, like their jobs as well. Nothing's really happening for them. For me personally as well, like I've always done dealings in the US, so all my opportunity that I've been given has been from there.
So you're moving from the UK to the USA?
Yes, sir.
And why did you choose the USA of all places? I know you could have moved to, it's very popular for UK citizens to go to Spain or Australia. What is it in particular about the USA that drew your attention?
Great question. I work fully remote anyway, so I work in tech. Everything that's kind of what we're using now, right, has been made in the US and then been adopted in the UK or in wider Europe or the world.
Yeah.
Australia, for me personally, like isn't an attraction. Sorry.
Let's be honest. You're right leaning on the political spectrum, and you think Australia is probably even still too woke for you.
No, not even. I mean, I'm pretty balanced when it comes to politics. My whole thing is about growth.
Yeah.
And in the UK, I just don't see that.
So what state are you thinking of moving to?
So I just come back from New York from a business trip, and I've been to Austin as well quite a few times. So I'm splitting my time up there. My founders are based in Michigan, New York, and I have team members in Austin as well.
So you're going to move to Austin?
Probably like 8 months of the year, yes.
Yeah, Austin would be a good shout. I think Michigan or New York, I don't know. I
mean, I love New York. I love the vibe.
Maybe northern Michigan.
See, from Michigan point of view, I've never been. I'm actually doing a month out there in August, so I'll be going from Austin to Michigan to New York.
Good. So do you anticipate that you'll earn more money from moving to the United States?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on a US salary now at 25 years old, and like I said, everything I've been given is from people in the US. So for me personally, just the attraction there relays a lot more. On the financial side, like you keep saying, right, bigger opportunity, bigger country, bigger economic growth. I mean, the trade wars and stuff like that, I think people have their own views and opinions. The political side, I mean, I'm not American, right? So from the ins and outs, I don't follow that side too deep. But I was in Dubai 3 weeks ago and I met a congressman from Washington, D.C., Republican. And everything that he's speaking about, of course, he's very favoured to his party, right? But they have some big plans just generally, which is quite exciting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, looking forward to it.
And many would say, oh my God, you're going to go to the USA. There's violence and shooting and crazy politics. Why has that not dissuaded you? Or do you think that's all smoke and mirrors?
It's like London, bro. It's like, you got to be smart. I mean, in New York and stuff like that, I went going for some stupid place at like 2 or 3 a.m., right? I think it's just being like socially aware, getting to know people and understanding where to go and not to go. But yeah, if it happens, it happens, right? If I get in trouble, I get in trouble. It is what it is. But yeah, no, I'm just looking forward to it, bro. And then everybody's saying about the UK is the US is declining. I mean, look at the UK.
They're
I think there's a stronger decline like every single week. Someone just said one word. Why the UK is better? Trump. I mean, there are things I do agree with Trump, and there's other things I don't agree. But like I said, I'm not an American citizen, so
Doesn't matter, does it? Are you doing in what visa are you going to get?
H1B.
Oh, but are you not like higher up in the organization such that you wouldn't need to do a H1B?
No, not yet. I mean, I'm investing in some businesses in the next 3 months within the US.
Why don't you do an E2 visa?
I can do, but for me personally to get out there, like I've already been approved from like the embassy already on that, just to get out there. And when that does come about, then I can apply for an E2. But for a H1B, it just made more sense. Like my company's immigration lawyer said that, and it's worked out quite smoothly.
Are you a founder?
I'm a partner, not a founder. So.
Do you have any like active or controlling role in the company?
Not yet. I will be.
Okay.
6 months.
Okay, so probably H1B probably works out for you, man. I wish you the best. I think you're gonna do really well out there.
Appreciate.
Make sure you have you got kids yet?
No, sir. No, 25 young man. Just enjoy my life.
Make sure you marry. Well, I don't know about marrying an American woman, but you need to figure out a way. You need to figure out a way that when you have kids, they're not born in the UK, because you don't want them to be trapped in 30 years time in the UK under
of course.
under
I mean,
communist
back,
rule.
Like I said, bro, I'm looking at it for me as a career at the moment, and then if anything happens, it happens. I'm not looking too much into it like that.
Okay, man. Well, thank you for sharing your perspective. It's good to see someone from the UK that's switched on and can see what's going on without.
No, I appreciate it, bro. I love these debates. It's entertaining.
Appreciate you, man.
No worries. Sweet, bro.
All right, there goes Jack. So Jack's got a head on his shoulder. W Jack. Man, I want to bring the soundboard back, but I'm not going to. I don't know. Let's see if anybody's watching live on YouTube. Guys, is anyone live on YouTube? I want to make sure that we're catering to our YouTube audience. There may not be anyone live on it, but you guys can watch us live on YouTube at State of Deception. Oh, yeah, okay, we got one. Someone said, Yo, W, New York City. Thank you, Johnny Denzo. We've got 2 viewers right now on YouTube. So, guys, go on the YouTube if you want to watch. You know, that means if you got YouTube Premium, you could be driving in the car. Vroom, 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 you can be listening to our live like a radio show. You know what I'm saying? You can do other things on your phone without going on TikTok live. And TikTok is a bit janky. You have to keep it on your phone. If you're on the laptop, you know what I mean? Go on the laptop it's easier. Put it on the speaker on the laptop. Just you hear my voice in the background going on yappy, 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 yap. You know what I mean? So go on the YouTube at State of Deception. That's the YouTube. And you can follow us. The link is in my bio if you want to see our YouTube links. So we also need likes. Where's the likes at, guys? How many likes are we on? Let's see. Guys, tap the screen to like the live. We're only on 2,100 likes, so we really need more likes. We want to get to 3,000 likes. And I said I would only get new guests on every 3,000. I've been generous. I've been very generous. But now it's time to lay down the law. If you support what we're doing, throw us 1,000 likes, boost us to 3K, and then we'll get another guest on. We've got 76 people, 80 people in fact, viewing live. Sam wants to come back on. Sam, he was a bit rude, so I'm going to get somebody else on. But guys, tap the screen. We want to get these likes up, so we really need more likes. We need likes, damn it. So yeah, when we get to 3,000 we'll get the likes. I wish I had some elevator music to play or something. Shannon Key, let's get some comments. 404 says, someone told me how friendly Americans are. I nearly cried because I never knew this as a miserable BRIT. Shannon Keith, yes, I wish I was in USA. UK is doomed, bro. Lush Lioness is yapping, but you're so quick to cut people off when they're not agreeing with you. Ah! Bilal says, bro is not even from these two. I'm from the UK, mate. Alfie says, I'm not from any of them. Where are we at with the likes? Oh, we're boosting. Let's go. Catch me on the block, baby. I need like a intermission song for when I'm waiting for the likes. Catch me on the block, baby, yeah. Catch me on the block, baby. 32 shot crazy, yeah. 32 shot crazy. Oh, we're almost there. Okay, we're almost there. So let's let another guest on. Hello, is it Ike?
Yo, yeah, you alright?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Alright, cool. Earlier on, I heard you say Trump was not a racist.
Did I?
didn't say that, but you said.
Or did I say, why is he a racist?
Where did? Sorry.
Or did I say, why is he a racist?
Said, why is he a racist?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what I said, but
But
I'm
I can
assuming
tell
I
you
would have
why.
said something like, why is he a racist?
Fair enough. But I can tell you why.
Sure.
Were you aware that in 1973 he literally did not rent to black people?
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. He was sued, I think under the Civil Rights Act, because people were claiming that he was disproportionately not renting to black people. But you do realize that his organization was sued, and he doesn't actually control who is approved for rent on his properties.
You,
Because he
well,
runs
you
a
don't
really.
think that there's a message
he
that's
runs-
passed down from higher ups?
Do you think that the CEO of a company determines who of a real estate enterprise determines who rents in every individual property?
It's still passed down from higher ups.
So you think he passed the message down saying, "Don't rent to black people"?
Not him himself, but you need to understand that that is how it was going on.
No, he settled the lawsuit. That doesn't necessarily mean that he agrees. So it was not established in court that he doesn't rent to black people. He just settled the lawsuit, I believe.
But he had to settle for it. He had to settle for it, which they had to in place anti-discrimination laws against it.
People who are wealthy get sued under discrimination laws all the time because people want money.
Okay, so you're basically what you're arguing is people just did it for money.
Not necessarily. I'm just presenting that as a potential motivation for a lawsuit. But even if that were true, that he wasn't renting to black people, or that his organization wouldn't rent to black people, can you explain why that makes him a racist if people in his organization are disproportionately not renting to black? Because he did rent to black people. It's just that they were less likely to rent, so people used that as a justification to sue his company.
So you've heard what he said, and you don't think he's a racist?
Said about what?
Anything?
No, give me an example.
Palestine.
What did he say that was racist about Palestine?
I think what you're doing.
No. Answer the
okay,
question. Answer the question.
No, I will get there. I will get there. By the way,
Answer the question and then pivot.
First of all, with Palestine, he wants to level the place to the ground and open up casinos to an indigenous people's land. By the way, so if that doesn't feel like subtle racism, I don't know what is.
What country, what ethnicity is that racist towards?
Arab people.
You know that there are Arab Israelis, right?
Okay, that doesn't hold against the point. That doesn't hold against my point.
So him being a Zionist and favoring Israel, which is also made up of Arab citizens, means that he's racist against Arabs.
You are aware that in Israel it's majority Israeli, though.
You can be an Arab Israeli.
Yeah, majority consider themselves Jewish, though.
Yeah, but there's different types of Jews. There's Ashkenazis,
I'm aware. I'm
Sephardim.
Jewish myself. I'm Jewish myself.
So why
but
are you pretending that there aren't non-white Arabs?
I'm not pretending that there aren't Arab Israelis. What I'm saying
Okay.
is it's based off the amount of population. If you have a majority, that is more the point. Why do you think he goes for minorities in the US?
If he's racist towards Arabs, why does he have such a good working relationship with Saudi Arabians?
Because they have money and they can back his plans.
So why do you not apply that to why he supports Israel?
I don't. I think.
I got ya.
How?
Because you're saying that the only reason why he aligns himself with Saudis is because they have money, but then you're arguing that the reason he aligns himself with Israel is because he's racist. That doesn't
No. He aligns with Israel because it's political gain. It makes sense for him to align with Israel.
So where does the
It's
racism
a safe
come in?
base in the Middle East.
So where does the racism come in then? If he's doing it for
He
political gain.
wants to level to the ground an indigenous land of Palestinians who are Arab. That is subtle racism.
Is he doing it because they're Arab or because he's a Zionist?
To be honest, bro, those kind of go hand in hand. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So you think that all Zionists are racist?
I would say so.
I think that's a bit of a sweeping statement.
I would say if it's not, it might not be racist, but it's definitely anti-Palestinian, which would at least make it xenophobic.
So you're saying he's a xenophobe?
I think he's both.
So in Trump's like career and in his cabinet, there's a mixture of different ethnicities. In his personal life, he has a mixture of different people who he's involved with. You know, Israel's made up of Arabs and all kinds of different ethnicities, as is the United States. Do you not think it's kind of a reach to think that his motivations are purely racial when it's more likely that it's to do with political gain?
Well, yeah, but his racism is part of the political game.
The racism that you're assuming is there, but you haven't really substantiated that it's there. You're just assuming.
No, I have. I gave you points.
No, those are assumptions.
No, him wanting to level Gaza to the ground was a post that he made.
Yeah, but you're assuming that he's doing that based on race as opposed to based on political gain.
What about the deportation of people, sending them back to their home countries when they have all legal right to be there?
Who has a legal right to be there?
The people he sent back? You not heard the stories?
No, they didn't have a legal right to be there.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
Some people did.
Which ones? Name them.
Bro, I don't know names.
Oh, every time you guys bring it up, you don't know what you're talking about.
It takes one Google search.
I've already done the Google search. I've had this conversation dozens of times. You can't even name the person you're talking about.
So you agree that there's a person?
I know the cases you're referring to, but you're probably conflating all of them, and you don't realize that none of those people were citizens.
Not true.
Name them then.
There's university students who have been sent back.
Yeah, they're university students on a student visa. They're not citizens.
But they have a legal right to be there.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
You don't understand the US law then.
If they're there through university, that means the university approved them to come over. Meaning they have every legal right to be there.
Nope, it's USCIS that approved them to be there, and they have every right to rescind that approval for any real reason. It's at the discretion of Customs and Border Protection, who is able to be in the country. I'll give you an example. If I went to the airport right now, I got a plane to the United States, and before I pass through passport control, I shout out, USA sucks! USA sucks! Do you think that they're just gonna... Do you think if they turn me away at the border, that means that they're racist?
No.
Exactly. Does that mean that
that's such a straw man argument?
It's not a straw man argument. I'm trying to explain to you that it's at the discretion of Customs and Border Protection who enters the United States. Now, if you're a citizen, then it becomes different. Then you have a legal right. But if you're not a citizen, it's at the discretion of USCIS whether you are allowed to remain or enter the United States. Did you not know that?
So do you not think it's a bit coincidental that it just so happens to be all of the foreign students who aren't white?
I don't think it's coincidental. I don't think it's coincidental. I think it's a deliberate agenda by his government because they are Zionists. And I don't agree with the person getting deported, but he did not have a legal right to be in the country.
Okay, but you realise that it's not just been one person, it's been multiple.
Yeah, and they're getting deported based on their sentiment regarding the Israel-Palestine conflict, and the fact that they are not citizens, and the fact that they are organising protests. So there's a number of reasons why they're being deported, and none of them have to do with their race.
Okay. But so you would say that I think you said this earlier that they have more liberties.
Who?
People in the US.
Yeah, they have more rights. I've said.
But yeah, if you're a university student and you don't agree with the way the government's going, you can organize a protest, be arrested, and sent back to your country. You think that's okay?
I just told you that I don't think that that's okay, but it's at the discretion of USCIS. It's not up to me.
So basically, he's basically sending people back that don't agree with his government. I think that's fundamentally wrong.
He's not sending them back. They're being deported back to their own country because they were only in the United States based on a privilege, and they're not citizens. And so it's up to USCIS if they are allowed to stay, and they can deport them for pretty much any reason.
I still think that a lot of my points stand.
They don't.
No, I don't like. Don't get
well,
me wrong.
you made a point that was wrong.
Sorry.
You made a point that was wrong.
No. Like I said, it's racism. You talk about bigger liberties, yet then you get sent back to your home country for protesting against something.
I don't want to have to explain everything I just said, but if you actually listen to everything I just said, then you would realize that, first of all, you are wrong. Second of all, nothing that you said substantiates your allegation that it's racism. And just to recap, they are not citizens, and they have been deported for disagreeing with the position of the state government, the federal government at that time. Or let's just say Trump's cabinet or whatever at that time, which I don't agree with, but it's not my decision. It's the decision of Customs and Border Protection. You made a claim that he had a legal right to be there, but he didn't.
Well, I just think it's a bit funny that all of these people are only now getting. You say he doesn't have a word in it. I would also say that's not true. People weren't getting sent back like this when Biden was in charge. And don't get me wrong, Biden was not always right. Don't get me wrong, but people weren't getting sent back to like this to their home countries and universities when Biden was in charge. So you're telling me he doesn't have a word, yet suddenly now people are going home.
I explained to you that I believe that because of the disposition of his government, because he is a Zionist, that's why he and his government, they disagree with the opinions of the Palestinian protesters. But the thing is, if the Palestinian protesters were citizens, they wouldn't be able to be deported. It's because those people that were organizing the protest were there on student visas. So when you're on a student visa, you're only there on a basis of privilege. You're not there. You don't have a legal right to be there. You can be deported for any reason. You could be deported for all kinds of things if you aren't a US citizen, like just causing a nuisance.
All right. Yeah. Change subject. Want to move on to something else?
Sure.
All right. Give me some of your things.
Things about what? I mean, you've said that.
Give me reasons of why the US is better than the UK.
So the citizens have more rights. There's more things to do. It has a more diverse landscape. It has more economic opportunity. Has multiple major cities that are among the best economies in the world. Probably in the top 100 cities in the world, probably over half of them will be in the United States in terms of, economy, opportunity. There's a diverse population of people. I could just go on and on. I mean, any countries, for any diaspora from any country, the people that the diaspora in the United States will probably be the most successful in the world of that group of people. For almost every group, as in if you're Arab, if you're Igbo, if you're Yoruba, if you're British, if you're Irish, all of those, any group you come from, if you take that population in the United States, they'll be doing better than all of that group in other places. So there's something unique and incredible about the United States, which provides opportunity to millions of people. And you have, like I said, the rights that you have, the right to bear arms, freedom of speech, two of the most important, iconic rights, and protected significantly by case law precedent in the United States. So it's just better.
I'll agree with you on one thing: better landscape. Our landscape's shit, but I don't agree with basically anything else. I think we've got better government programs that take care of us, even though they are terrible. If they might be bad, but in the US, if you have no money, you are left to fend for yourself. If your healthcare, like you said, you may have Medicare, but Medicare doesn't cover everything. So if you get injured, getting back.
You mean Medicaid?
Sorry?
You mean Medicaid, right?
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. But if you get injured in the UK, I heard this earlier on. If I break my leg in the US, and I get sent to the hospital and I need to pay 30 grand. Yes, you don't have to pay 30 grand outright, but you still have to pay it in increments, which means that is money coming out of my bank account every month, when in the UK, I still have to pay, I think, a bit, but nowhere near as much.
Why do you think you would get a bill for 30 grand?
Because there's stories about it, bro.
No, those stories will be people that don't have health insurance. So if you had health insurance, you'd probably get a bill. You'd probably get a bill for like maybe 1K.
I don't think that's true.
Well, that's because you don't know how health insurance works.
No. I don't think that's true. You're telling me for at least maybe 3 months of care to fix your leg, you're only getting $1,000 for that in the US.
It depends on
What's
your
your source
on your
for that,
insurance.
that I would only get $1,000?
It depends on the person's insurance like it depends on what the agreement is. It's like, have you got a car in the UK?
Me? No.
Okay, have you ever had a car?
Nah.
Have you ever had insurance for anything?
No, I live in Belgium, to be fair.
Okay, so that, if you don't understand how insurance works, then how can you speak on health insurance in the USA?
Because I know the basics of insurance.
You clearly don't.
No, I do.
You don't. That's why you don't understand why. That's why you don't. That's why you don't understand why somebody can get a bill that is seemingly 30k, but they actually don't pay 30k for it. You clearly don't understand that there will be a deductible. You clearly don't understand that there will be a deductible that you pay, and most people have a maximum deductible for a year, and then the rest will be paid by their insurance company. So that's why you wouldn't probably pay a 30k bill. In addition, if you couldn't afford the bill, you would be eligible for Medicaid on an injury like that.
But if you don't have insurance, tell me what happens then.
You would be eligible for Medicaid.
Like I said,
it's income
Medicaid doesn't
assessed.
cover everything.
It's income assessed. It would cover that.
Okay, let's say it's something graver than that then.
Let's
say it's something, I don't know what Medicaid exactly covers. I'm not fucking a genius on it, but okay. I know that it doesn't cover everything. And if you were to get something potentially life-threatening and you don't have something, you might have to pay that.
You might have to pay what, a bill?
Yes.
So you're saying a person goes to the USA, they're living in the USA, they don't have insurance, and they're earning a lot of money, they injure themselves, and then they get a bill, and you're arguing that this is bad when that's clearly just the person being irresponsible. That's like me saying. That's like me saying. If I'm,
I think the government should set up precautions for people that don't necessarily have the money to do so.
You mean like Medicaid?
This man was rich.
You mean like Medicaid?
Yeah.
Oh, so they already have set that up.
No.
Yes.
Like you said, you only get Medicaid if you don't have health insurance.
You just said they should set up a system for people that don't have enough money.
Yes.
Medicaid
doesn't cover everything.
Medicaid is income assessed. That is the system for people that don't have enough money.
It still doesn't cover everything.
It covers the examples that you just gave.
Sorry?
It covers the examples that you just gave.
Okay, so I gave you but like I said, my point still stands.
It doesn't stand. It doesn't stand because
yes, it does because it doesn't cover everything.
Let me say, because you're presenting a scenario where a person deliberately decides to be irrational and then pretending, it's got you. If somebody decides to be irrational, how is that not their own fault? That's like me being like, if I don't have car insurance and I drive outside and crash my car and then I get a massive bill, why didn't the government protect me? Why didn't you get car insurance?
Because, by the way, you're using a car as an example, which is a purchase, and comparing a human life to it.
You don't understand analogies. Oh, okay, that's why.
Bro, the analogy you used was bad.
It's a bad analogy to compare insurance to
the purchase of a car to the life.
I didn't compare the purchase of a. No, you're not smart, bro. You're not.
Yes, you did. You said
no,
if
I didn't.
I buy a car,
no, I didn't.
And then I don't have the insurance set up for it. That means that
you don't know how insurance works. That's the problem. So you're not qualified to speak on the topic. Like I just gave you an analogy where somebody crashes their car, so they have an incident and they don't have insurance, and then they get a bill, and you're saying that that's a bad analogy when that's literally exactly what could happen in the United States and cause you to have a bill for not having health insurance. And I'm saying in both those examples, the problem is caused by the person not getting health insurance.
What I would
or not getting insurance
is that if you buy a car in the US and you crash that car, or in the UK and you don't get insurance for it, that is your own fault. You need to take care of that. However, when it is a human life and you physically cannot afford it, or it is death or potential life-threatening injuries that you have to keep because you don't have the money in your pocket, I don't think that's a valid thing to compare one another.
No, because if you had health insurance, it would be covered by your health insurance. And you wouldn't need health
No,
insurance
you
if
wouldn't, because some things don't cover it.
you wouldn't, dude. If you were dead, then it wouldn't matter whether you have a bill or not, because you're
Fair
dead.
enough. But
So if you have a serious injury and you can't afford it, it's covered by Medicaid. If you don't have if you have health insurance, it's covered by your insurer.
but like I said, Medicaid doesn't cover everything.
It covers the main things that a person would experience, like an emergency health situation.
Oh my god,
Yeah, you don't know how it works, so why are you even talking about it?
I'm getting frustrated, bro.
You're getting frustrated because you're talking about something that you don't know about. Let's get homegrown on. You can speak to an American guy right now. He'll explain it to you. Hold on.
Alright.
What's up, bro?
Okay. Ike, what is it that you're having trouble understanding? I am a U.S. citizen. I am a U.S. citizen of color. So I would be considered in the minority where everybody is saying that they are oppressed. In the United States, everybody looks at people of color as being the sole proprietors of Medicare and Medicaid, when that is actually false.
Okay, I never said that though.
I'm not saying that you said that. Follow me.
Okay.
Follow
Okay, fair
follow
enough.
where I'm going.
Okay.
When it comes to Medicare, Medicaid, and government assistance, more YT people are on Medicare, Medicaid, and government assistance. When it comes to that, let's say you don't make a substantial amount of money. Let's say you're lower middle class to being poor. Medicare, Medicaid are your subsidized form of medical insurance. The vast majority of people in the United States who have legitimate jobs, where they're being paid by a corporation, whether it be McDonald's, Walmart, somewhere like that, are covered by some kind of health care insurance. Now we have it here where insurance is based upon whether you're working full-time or part-time. A lot of part-time individuals do not get health care insurance from their jobs. But there are more full-time employees than there are part-time employees. Part-time employees usually are those individuals where you hear are working multiple jobs, but they have an option at Medicare, Medicaid. Peach Care is another one that we have in the state of Georgia. They have those options. They choose not to take those options because they don't know any better. That's why you hear a lot of rhetoric being pumped to you about, oh, we don't have healthcare insurance, we can't afford this, we can't afford that. There are so many subtle nuances as to why that occurs. Lack of education, lack of job market opportunities in the areas in which they live. It's been explained on this live many of times where there are, in a lot of instances, abilities to move outside to a more lush job market. But a lot of people get comfortable. They get stuck to the point of being taken care of. If you don't have one of those jobs that provide you with medical care or provide you with some kind of medical insurance, you have the aforementioned forms of care. Let's say you get hurt. Let's say, okay, let's cover getting hurt on the job. Whether you have insurance through your job or not, if you get hurt on the job, your job is required to take care of you. If they do not, if they try to find a workaround for it, that is grounds for a lawsuit. And it is an easy one, as long as you're doing what you were supposed to be doing.
In addition, just on that point as well, if you're a victim of any kind of crime or injury that's someone else's fault, that option is always available to you as well. They'll probably settle. The settlement will usually, if not always, include them having to pay your medical bills. So it's very, 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 very rare where you're in a situation where something happens randomly to you that's not your fault, you have no money, and then you just end up with a massive bill. It does happen, but it's extremely rare. On top of that, even when you get the bill, you can get it written off by your state government, or worst case scenario, you can use bankruptcy, or you could just not pay the bill, and it might affect your credit. But
So
the situation that you're pretending is pervasive in in society in the United States, it simply would only happen to someone that is the equivalent of someone who's just driving around with no car insurance and crashes their car like into a wall because they're drunk. Like it would only happen to someone that is extremely irresponsible with their life.
Correct. So
Okay.
to that point, I've had that happen.
Can I just chime in real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
But the point with that is, okay, it may be rare. I'll take your word for it. It may be rare. But the point is that does not happen in the UK at all.
What happens in the UK is worse, because what happens is people get put on waiting lists for care that they need, and that causes far more deaths than people dying as a result of not having insurance. So the issue of waiting lists is far worse than the issue of uninsured people in the United States, and it causes far more harm.
Because
By the way, I don't think the NHS is very well run either. But I would rather have a system where if I get injured, I'd rather be put on a waiting list than potentially lose my life earnings in an accident.
You would rather lose money you'd rather save money and be 13 times more likely to die.
It depends what type of
Because
injury
here's
we're
the
talking.
thing. Let's say you have something like a kidney infection. Something simple, easy to cure, but can also be fatal. Let's say you have some kind of organ infection. What it sounds like to me is you go through the NHS, you get put on a waiting list. The longer you wait, the worse it gets. In the US, if I have an infection and I get seen, they write me up for a prescription or whatever, and they say, well, if the issues persist, please come back.
What?
Let's say I don't even have insurance.
I'm confused at why somebody would rather risk their life than just accept a bill that they can write off later.
Right.
That doesn't even make sense.
My overall point to that is because while yes, I may be injured, I will also have money where I can at least do something about it, because private healthcare exists in the UK as well, by the way.
But you have less money as well. So you have less money and worse healthcare.
No.
Okay, perfect.
No.
Yes.
Example right here. Here's a perfect example, and I've been through this. So I was at the gym a couple of years ago. I was at the gym and I was working out, and I kept going, and I ended up tearing my pectoral muscle. Well, it felt like I had broken my arm. It felt like I had broken something. I didn't have insurance at the time because I was not working. I went to the emergency room at the prestigious hospital in one of the most prestigious hospitals in the United States. I sat in there for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the most. They x-rayed me, they checked me out, and they gave me something for the pain. Because I didn't have insurance, I got a bill in the mail about 4 months later for $1,100. That $1,100 bill, I did not pay. But I got the medical care that I needed, and I got the pain meds I needed to manage my situation. It did not require any kind of surgery, but I got the medical care. I did not have to wait for weeks on end just to be told that I was okay or it was something serious. I did not pay that $1,100 bill. After a couple of years, that bill fell off of my name. It did not affect my credit. It did not affect my finances. I got free medical health care.
Free healthcare, exactly. Because the
You get the same in the UK.
No, but no, it's different because you have a choice. So you have the choice to get the healthcare, accept the bill, and then you have a choice to pay the bill or not pay the bill. In the UK, when you get your income, it gets taken out of your income before you even get the money and given to the NHS. Then you get put on a waiting list when you want the care. So you don't have the choice, and the money comes out of your account before you can do anything about it. So you don't even have the choice. And in addition, a bit like there are laws around medical debt that mean it's not the same as normal debt. So it doesn't affect your credit in the same way. It won't even show up on your credit rating at all for, I think it's a year, according to I think the act was like 2020 or 20, it was recent, but it doesn't even show up on your medical bill for a year. And you only have to make small payments, and you don't even really have to pay again. Like if you leave a medical bill on your credit rating, that's not going to affect your credit that bad, if at all. Most of the time it won't affect your credit at all.
Right.
So you've just been lied to about what medical care in the USA is like, and it's UK, it's propaganda basically.
No, because like you said earlier on, you agreed with me that it does happen.
It would only happen in a case of someone that's extremely irresponsible.
No, because it's happened to people who are responsible.
Like who?
People who have.
Name
Bro,
them.
I don't know names.
Name them.
It is one Google search away to
Google
find
search
out.
it. Google search it now and tell me the name of somebody.
All right, do you want me to find one?
Sure.
Tell me the prompt I should Google.
You would think that if you know so much about what you're talking about, you would have an example.
Tell me the prompt. Tell me the
It's
prompt.
just
I'll Google-
propag-
I'll
you've just
Google
been-
the exact words you
Bro.
want me to say.
Bro, you've just been propagandized. Just accept it. It's okay.
I just
Okay,
think
so here's
that it is
here's
a
the
flawed
problem.
system.
It's not a flawed
have-
system.
Here's the
Your
problem
whole healthcare system work on the funds of what you earn.
Is
Meaning-
is
I
is
would say
the German or Irish healthcare system bad as well?
I don't know.
But why are you criticizing the US healthcare system as if it's so bad? But the German and Irish healthcare system works the same way, and they're better than the US.
Because
They're better than the
also
UK's.
they also have more. I assume they have more preventatives for that to happen.
No, it's the same. They're all mixed healthcare systems.
I wouldn't know, to be fair.
It's because
I
you haven't been
wouldn't
propagandized about Ireland and Germany, but you've been propagandized about the USA.
right.
Well, like I said, I don't know how the healthcare works in Ireland and Germany. I don't think that's a good system if that's how it works.
But have you
there
ever
too.
heard? Have you
I
ever
think it's
heard
flawed there
anybody?
too,
But
then.
have you ever heard anybody talking about the systems in Ireland and Germany saying, "Oh, it's so unfair. How dare they? Da, 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 da. People are just dying on the floor about medical care." Why do you only hear it about the USA?
Because the USA does it a lot more on average.
No, it's the same system. It's because you've been propagandized.
The reason you hear more about the U.S. is because you all are being fed American media, which like a vast majority of Americans don't even pay attention to American media because it's a bunch of crap at the end of the day. And it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You got to really weed through a lot of the vast majority of what you hear to find the actual good stuff.
Bro,
And
I've got an actual good example. Ike, I'm assuming you don't support reform.
No.
Okay, have you ever seen online on like X or something when people are like, "Oh my God, like there's no-go zones in the UK, right?" And then like they all believe this propaganda about the UK, but it's not
that
actually.
was the thing. That was.
It's not reality. It's just propaganda coming from UK media that got exported to the USA, and people just believe it. They buy it, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is how it is in the UK. Oh, people are just out here having sword fights. Oh my God, like." But it's propaganda. It's just propaganda that got exported to another country, and that's just a misconception that people have. That's what it's like with American healthcare. There's no healthcare system's perfect, but there's propaganda that's been exported across the world about the US healthcare system, and people believe it without understanding how the system actually works.
I just think if you fundamentally have a system that is based off how much you earn and if you can afford private healthcare, and that if you don't and you are an unlucky person who wasn't irresponsible, and then you have to pay however much money, that is a flawed system. That is a flawed system.
But you don't
and
have
it
to
is
pay the
worse than
money.
the UK's.
But you don't have to pay the money.
Everybody has to pay for medical care through some source. At the base of it, at the fundamental base of it, everybody has to pay for medical care. Some pay more than others. Some pay it through their taxes. It has the resources have to come from somewhere. The resources for all these medical machines and studying and advancements don't just fall out of the crack of somebody's ass. Excuse the expression. They don't just pop out of thin air. They have to be paid for and funded. And here's the thing that I would say to you. The whole point, you sat here and tried to argue with this guy about, you've just been proven wrong. And instead of saying, okay, I didn't understand about the American healthcare system, you slightly move the goalpost to try to at least get something right out of the debate that you're putting forward.
Look,
There's nothing wrong with being
I'll be the first
wrong.
to say, I won't get everything right. Don't get me wrong, he's had me on a few points. I'm not fully aware of how this system works, but my overall point still stands. If you have to pay off some debt, I am not saying for everyone in the US. I'm not saying this is the average. I'm not saying this is how everything works. I am saying if you are unlucky, you don't have it covered, you might be unemployed, you get Medicaid or whatever it is, some of it is not covered, and you still have to pay incredibly expensive medical bills, which will result in you not only not getting the treatment you want, but having no money.
No, that's not true. You keep saying you have to pay. That's the key point that you're missing.
Exactly. You don't have to pay it. You basically, here's how it basically works. You can not pay it and experience a slightly lower credit rating, or you can pay it and keep your credit good.
Right.
You don't have to pay at all.
So the ultimatum is either you don't pay and your credit score goes massively down,
And you got free
No,
healthcare.
massively
It's not massively
you
down.
do pay, and now you're in debt.
No, it's not massively
Okay,
down,
so-
and you don't have to pay it, and that means you just got
Right.
free healthcare. So you have a choice to get free healthcare or to pay for your healthcare. It's a choice that you make.
I mean,
But in the
everything
UK,
has consequences.
they take the money out of your account before you even get the choice. So if you have a job in the UK, you are paying for healthcare. Period. You don't have a choice. You don't have even the option to say, "Oh, I'll pay later." It's gone. It's out of your account before you saw it. In the USA, you have the choice. You can say, "I'm gonna pay," or "I'm not gonna pay." And when you say, "I'm gonna pay," your insurer is gonna pay if you've got health insurance. And yes, you pay more.
You've got health insurance.
If you don't have it, you get
Yeah, you
Medicaid,
don't have
or you don't pay it at all. You don't have to pay it. What do you not understand?
Because there's something called the Hippocratic Oath. When you go in seeking medical help, they cannot deny you medical help.
I think both of you are overall ignoring the larger point that I have made, which is you are using some of the things that do happen. You are ignoring my overall point that this
No,
does
nobody's-
happen, and this
nobody's
does
ignored
not
your-
happen in the UK.
Nobody's
does not
ignored
happen
your
in the UK.
point. Nobody's ignored your point. You're failing to
And by
get
the way,
the point of somebody that knows
someone in the comments
exactly
just
what
said
you were
they
trying
can
to
deny
argue
you.
for. Because like
They
I
can.
said, whether you have insurance or whether you don't have insurance, if you go to the hospital, you receive care. Okay, let's just solely focus on the fact that you don't have health insurance. You go in and you receive care. You get a bill for said health insurance, for said medical attention that you received. You have the choice of either making payments towards that medical bill, or you have the choice to say, screw it. I don't have the money. I would rather put my money towards the other things that I need, and I'm not going to pay it.
And you
Are
still
we-
have the money.
Are we on the same?
And the
page?
money's in your pocket, by the way. It's not in the hands of the government before you were able to get it.
Right.
It's still in your pocket. You can
You-
go, I'm going to pay or I'm not going to pay.
You are also ignoring that when you pay those taxes for the healthcare, yes, it goes straight out of your account, but you're also paying for other benefits. You're paying for free education. You're paying for fucking public transport, something the US doesn't know anything about. You've got loads of benefits that come with that, not just the healthcare.
Who said we don't know anything about free transportation and things like that?
Just because San Francisco got some tram lines don't mean you got public transportation.
It's not San Francisco. Okay, see, this is what he's trying to tell you. You're trying to argue about what goes on in the United States, and you have no clue.
Yeah,
Have you ever
San
been-
Francisco
have you
has
ever
a
been
tram
to the
line.
United-
San
Have you ever
Francisco
been
has
to
a
the
tram
United
line.
States?
San Francisco has a tram line.
Have you been to the United States? That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you, have you ever been to the United States?
No.
Do you realize that there is a transit system in Washington, Georgia, and vast other places? You do realize that, don't you?
Yeah, but my transport system gets me from one side of the country to the other.
Have you ever heard of Amtrak?
No.
I suggest you get on your computer and look up Amtrak, because what you're rattling on about is, and it's, I'm not insulting your intelligence, but what I'm about to tell you is what you're rattling on about is ignorant because you don't know. So how did we go from talking about paying and not paying for healthcare to a transit system or a mode of transportation? That's not linear.
It's just code,
like
bro.
I said,
It's just
this-
code.
this
Like
is how
if
we
you
got to here.
if you go to like the tri-state area near like New York City, they will have just as a robust transit system as what we have in the UK. Obviously, if you've got a country that's 42 times bigger than the UK, it's not going to have as much dense public transportation. The UK is a small island. That's why it has more robust public transportation.
Yeah.
So
That's fine then.
But-
we can go city for city.
you don't want to go city for
Georgia's transit
city.
system is not going to connect you.
You don't want to go city for city,
like
bro.
Tennessee or something like that. It's just it's not feasible for every state's personal transit system to connect to every state. We are vastly larger, but
And you can also get a plane, by the way.
right. So like if you wanna get back to the healthcare system, and you want to talk about that, and then once we get on the same page or somewhere in a happy medium about the healthcare system, then we can talk about.
Let me make another point about transport. Is you can literally fly from New York to California for cheaper than it is to get the plane from London or wherever to Glasgow. Or, like it's like the same price. It's like it'll be like $70 for a flight. I mean, maybe it depends on the time of the year, but definitely for a single person, you can get a one-way flight for like $70 New York to California, and that's like basically the same price it would cost you to get from London to Glasgow. Just saying.
Yeah, but that ignores the fact that public transportation like trams and metros leave better imprints on the environment.
What does
So
that
yeah,
have
let's
to
just
do?
fly everywhere. Let's just fly everywhere.
So
Let's
like,
just fly
why
everywhere.
are
That sounds
you-
good.
No,
why are you moving the goalposts now? Now that
think
you-
about it.
No,
but think
I
about it. If
moved
you,
the
but
goalposts.
you are, because think about
I
it. If you,
gave
bro,
a point to
bro,
him.
if you're trying to go to another state and you can fly there for like $70, why the hell do you need to get the train there? And if you're within your state, granted, like you might have to get a car some places, but if you're in a major metropolitan area, then of course, like you're gonna have public transport. Riley's just lying, talking about you can't fly to a state for $70. Dude, I just booked a flight for $70 from a state to state in the United States. Like,
So-
what you? I've just booked a flight for it's actually like $150 from New York to North Carolina the other day for 2 individuals. So what's that? That's like £70 each, £75 each. You can go state to state on a flight for $70. You're lying. I can
I can fly
you know
from-
what? No,
I
let's
can
do
fly
this.
from,
You guys talk. I'm gonna get
Georgia.
a flight up right now, Riley. If I find a flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked.
I can fly from,
So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight, you're getting blocked. So I'm gonna find if I find a $70 flight Sorry,
Well,
guys.
just
Go
do
on.
Georgia to Florida. That's an easy cheap flight.
Nah,
But
that's cheating. That's cheating. Georgia
How-
to Florida is like, I'll play devil's advocate. Georgia to Florida is cheating. That's like, come on, that's like really close.
That's
There
like
you go.
that's like the length of the entire United Kingdom.
Yeah,
But like Georgia to
proportionate
Florida
size.
is between like a 6 to 8 hour drive. So I mean, technically that's not close. Like I don't think that a lot of people outside of the U.S. realize how big the U.S. actually is.
So I've already just found a flight from Atlanta to Florida for £80, and that's the very first one that's come up. And I'm pretty sure that's a return flight. And I said one way. So Riley, you're about to get blocked. Any last words? It's £32. Atlanta to Miami, £32. Jesus. Wow, that's crazy. What have you got to say about that, Ike? You can go from Atlanta to Miami for £32. That is literally more than the length of the entire UK.
Yeah, our transport's still better. I still think it's better. You can get from one side to you can go anywhere. You don't need to worry about getting a plane.
Go where? Where do you need to go? Where would you want to go in the UK that is really cheap and that the public transport will take you? To Birmingham?
Where am I starting from?
You're in London.
London's more expensive though.
You're in Manchester.
All right, Manchester to, let's go. I won't go Birmingham. That's a bit close. Let's go Cardiff.
Manchester to Cardiff. Should we do Manchester to Cardiff. And how much do you think this is going to be?
I don't know. I'll say.
Do you want to?
I'll say.
I shit you not, guys. I am not making this up. I promise you. I'll even turn my camera around. Guess how much it costs?
I'll say 50 to 60.
It costs £35. I shit you not. I did not plan that.
Flights from Atlanta, Georgia to Florida are a lot more common. So the ticket prices will be cheaper because it's a flight that often happens.
But
So-
the point is, like, you're talking about robust public transport. I agree that the UK has more robust public transport. It's a small region, and to get somewhere that's a 3-hour journey is costing you £35, and you could literally fly state to state for that. Like, come on.
I think our public transport is better as in robust. I don't necessarily agree with prices. I think a lot of public transportation should be free anyway. But like I said,
I mean,
think our system is better.
it's public transportation is probably cheap in like Romania too, but it's just like, where you going? Like, you want to, like, you can fly to major metropolitan areas, over like 100 major areas that are among the top 200 economies in the world, job opportunities, things to do. Like, I could sit here and listen off San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, Las Vegas, Dallas, Texas, Houston, San Antonio, Miami, Raleigh, Charlotte, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, Indianapolis, Cincinnati. It just goes on and on, Chicago. Like, these are all the most preeminent cities pretty much in the history of the world. And you're talking about, but you can get a fucking train from, Manchester to Cardiff. What are you doing in Cardiff? Like, what are you doing in Cardiff? Like, really tell me.
Okay, first of all, that's not a valid argument. A city is a city. It doesn't change much.
I think it's a valid argument because I'm like, if you're in a place that's way more popping with way more stuff to do, and the places are actually viable to go to, like, obviously because you're talking about the public transport being better, but I'm saying, like, those are places that you would actually feasibly fly to. So it's like, instead of getting a train from like I don't want to swear, but like middle of nowhere Nebraska to Omaha, right? You're not there's no reason for you to even do that journey, but you would be doing the journey from like Chicago to Dallas. You get what I'm saying? And when you do that journey, it's like £50, $70. Do you get what I'm saying? So the places that you're going to are different. That's why, like, if you're within state going to random regions, it might cost you a lot because no one's doing that journey. It's almost like if you're in the UK and then you're traveling not from Manchester to Cardiff, but from like Swindon to like Grantham. Like, it's such a random journey that you're gonna have to do a train to a random place, and you're gonna have to get an Uber. So the journey's gonna cost you like £100, or like, do you know what I'm saying? It's gonna cost you a lot. because it's a random place. So I'm saying the journeys that people are actually doing in the USA are feasible and they're not overly expensive, because you would probably be getting a plane from city to city instead of just going to a random place, or you'd have a car.
I also just think the argument you made with Atlanta and Florida is not valid. It's a flight that happens often. It's a flight that they get a lot of transportation going to both of these areas. Atlanta's a big city, by the way. That's basically like saying...
That's the same as Manchester and Cardiff.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that is a journey, and by the way, it was still cheaper. That is a journey that happens a lot more often. If you go for a bigger journey...
Okay, should I do London to Manchester?
London to Manchester?
Yeah, because that would be an extremely common journey. It's like, obviously it's a smaller distance, but it's £30. So, you know, I mean, let's check how much it is. It might be cheaper, but I'm pretty sure it's like 30. Yeah. Oh no, wait, hold on. Train London to Manchester. Yeah, £30.
£30.
Yeah. So it's basically the same cost as flying from Miami to Atlanta.
I still think I win.
Okay, you win. Any last thoughts?
All right. Good chat. Have a good night.
Cheers. I feel bad, Homegrown, because I don't like it when there's two people against one, because it just seems biased. But like, we're doing God's work, bro. Because like, it's one person at a time.
Where people have points, I'll give it to them. Because again, I agree with you. It seems a little attacky, like 2-on-1.
Yeah.
But it just gets so frustrating when you hear people that have never been to the U.S. or have only been to the U.S. for week vacation, and they try and argue what actually goes on in the U.S. And it's like, of course they're not going to necessarily believe you because you don't live in the U.S. So it's like, okay, well, hear it from the horse's mouth.
I think for me, the sad thing is like, I just don't think that UK citizens understand the amount of opportunity that they're missing out on, because they have all these misconceptions and preconceptions about what the United States is like, and they don't realize that they could literally lift their family into like another social class and like literally give their kids the best opportunities in the world if they would just realize that they've been lied to. And I'm not saying the USA is perfect, but I'm saying like for a UK citizen, that is a great place to move to. Like, and I think people don't realize it, because a lot of I speak to, you know, the common sentiment in the United States, in the United Kingdom is, oh, I want to move, I want to go to a different country. And people just say this, but they don't really know where to go. And they all go, oh, not USA, it's bad there, Trump bad. Like they don't realize that's the place, bro. That's where you probably should be going. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, Riley said it costs her $300 to go from the middle of the country to New York City. One of the reasons, Riley, why it costs you that much to go to New York City is, number one, how big is the airport in the state in which you live?
It can't be free. It is not $300, by the way. There's no way.
Number two, it's New York City. Everything is expensive in New York City. The cost of living in New York City is darn near twice.
Riley, the only reason I didn't even boot you is because of your female privilege. So stop derailing. You use that female privilege. Don't talk about mansplaining. Right, let me get someone else up. Homegrown, I'm gonna just drop you down actually, because you know, UB's on here, but I keep forget. How do I make you a mod? Let me just try and do it now, because I keep forgetting to do it, bro.
You gotta tap on the name, and then I believe.
Is it add moderator?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Confirm access. What's up?
Hey,
one second, bro.
I'm doing fine. All right, I got some points.
Yeah, I got you.
So about the cost of living situation in America, it really depends where you're at, because if like you live in Montana, for example, you'd be making maybe $100,000 a year.
Thanks for the gift, by the way, Tash.
And a lot of stuff is cheaper there.
Did you say $100,000 in Montana?
But like, there's no way in hell you can get anything.
You're saying there's no way you'd get up. Sorry, you're breaking up a bit, bro.
Yeah, it's very Market crap.
Oh no.
It could be like $300 to get.
Oh, bro, we can't really hear you because you're breaking up a lot, bro. Sorry, bro. Let me just drop you down. You might have to come back in because we can't actually hear you. When you sort out your connection or whatever, then I'll bring you back up. Is it Orani or is it a Q? My eyes are terrible. Orani. London to Manchester tomorrow morning, £86 to £106. Jesus Christ. There you go. Oh, Tasha's literally making it rain on me. Make it rain, baby. Make it rain. I'm in the business with terror. Got a handful of stacks. Better grab an umbrella. I make it rain. Make it rain. Make it rain. Hey. Oh, you're not gonna. Oh, Orani, I was unable to. Oh, she gave me a rose. Appreciate it. Okay, let's get this chat back up because we're still live. By the way, guys, we're live on YouTube as well. Damn, I need a retwist. We're live on YouTube right now at State of Deception. If you guys want to watch us on YouTube, please don't be shy. Go and subscribe. Have we got YouTube viewers? Yeah, we got some YouTube viewers. What's up? Okay, let's chat to the YouTube viewers because I've been neglecting my YouTube chat. We got Johnny Denzo and Prometheus in the chat. Prometheus says Chicago's my hometown. It's garbage. Stay away. I ain't trying to go to Chicago. Don't worry. He says I'm a Floridian now. I encourage you to come to Florida, Maine. I've been to Florida, Maine. I've been to Tampa Bay area, Maine. Florida, Maine. America's far from perfect. There's endless opportunities. New York sucks. You do great in Florida, brother. I'd hire you. Appreciate that, man. You'd hire me? Come on, man. Why can't we be business partners? Talking about you're gonna hire me, bro. We'd be business partners. Tampa, Florida. The food is packed with banned chemicals in America. Oh, that's sad, isn't it? Don't eat it. Grow your own. We got 85 people viewing live. What's up? What's up to everyone viewing? Anthony says this is my ex-girlfriend's account. Okay. That's my state. What? Florida, man. Shout out to Florida, man. Florida, man. What about in terms of crime? Would you say UK is worse? So, obviously, the violent crime is higher in the United States, but the profile of the kind of crime that exists is different. So, somewhere like London has higher crime than most cities I've seen, but they do characterize the crime different. For example, in London, like they consider like saying naughty words to people a crime, so they'll put that in the crime stats. And then also like pushing someone counts as violent crime in London, but doesn't really count in most cities in the United States. So it's about how they characterize the crime. But yeah, a lot of the crime in America is gang on gang. They have a lot of gangs in America. So that raises the statistics because they're committing crimes against each other. So when people are committing crimes against each other, does that really reflect on the likelihood of crime happening to you? Maybe not so much because you're not a gang member. So it's hard to really say, but what we can say is that violent crime is very unlikely to happen to anyone in either UK or the USA. It does happen, but it's not very likely. So either way, you're looking at a less than what? 0.7%? I think it's 0.7% likelihood in the United States and maybe like 0.25 or 0.3 in the UK. So, you know, it's not likely to happen. You got less than 1% chance in a year of anything happening to you. And that includes the gang members. So if you remove like people, the gang violence of gangs on gangs, it probably goes down in the United States to like 0.3%, and in the UK it probably goes down to like 0.1% or something, you know? Oh, we got a guest request in. Let's see. Oh, we're doing a nice little late night live today. 2:38. What's up?
Yo, what's good, man?
Yeah, I'm good. What side of the debate are you on?
Where are you from again, bro? What part?
I'm from London.
London. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I talked to you a long time ago, bro. How's that process? Are you working on the process of coming to the state or what?
Yeah. I'm gonna be there in like 3 weeks.
Oh, sweet. What state?
I'm going to South Carolina, but I'm also going to be in North Carolina, Georgia, all through.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, my sister lives in North Carolina.
Yeah, the southeast.
Yeah. You gonna be in Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit up Charlotte for sure.
Yeah, it's a nice city, man. Yeah, I just wanted to come on and just talk about the topic and stuff like that. I haven't been to the UK, but it's a very popular place, bro. Specifically England. And I know you got Scotland. No one really talks about Scotland or Northern Ireland. Even Wales. Wales is not talked about, but England's talked about a lot. It's the most popular one. So when we're saying UK, we're referring to the whole thing, or specifically England.
Well, we're referring to the whole thing. Most Irish people wouldn't include. Well, it doesn't. It's not really included. Ireland. I think
Northern Ireland?
It's so it would be called Great Britain and Northern Ireland. I think makes up the United Kingdom. But then the Republic of Ireland is not included in that, although it is technically on the British Isles. So when we're talking about UK, we're pretty much talking about usually England and Scotland and potentially Northern Ireland as well.
Yeah, Wales too.
Oh, and Wales. Nobody
Yeah,
cares about
yeah.
Wales.
Yeah, England's sick though. I want to go
And
so
Wales, yeah.
bad. I actually got my sister's friend lives there. She lives in Brampton, but she's going to move to Toronto soon. And I was asking her why. She said she loved England, but like she feels like the people there are like the environment of the people there. They're not very like outgoing. They're very like depressed sometimes.
Yeah.
Cold shoulder. Like she says, she's just trying to look for somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, so I've heard things about England. It's like it's kind of weird. I don't know, because it's like one of those countries. It's a power horse country. You know, powerhouse. I meant to say. Like it's a lot of, like out of all the countries in the world, it's like top 5 easily, right?
No. No.
I think so. I think
UK
it's at least top 10.
UK is not top 5 in pretty much anything. Like not anymore.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, I can't.
know they
I mean,
got
probably
either way,
something.
They got a huge influence in the whole world. You
Yeah,
know what
I mean, culture. Yeah, there's a cultural influence, I suppose, but
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real, man. Like, nobody's trying to stay in the UK.
Yeah, I know. I heard it's because of like the setting, like the weather and stuff. It affects people. I don't know, but a lot of huge things in England. But I do agree with your point. Obviously, that's better than the UK. Sometimes I say it depends on the person, but it can't even depend on the person, because you can, if you want the same setting in the UK, like at least the environment, you can find that in America. Like America has every state's like its own thing. Like every region, like you can find that setting anywhere. Like it has all you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I agree with that point. You know, but that's all I had to say, man. I heard you mention Florida. Yeah, I'm from Tampa, so that was pretty cool that you said that, man. Yeah. That's
Nice,
a
bro.
area, too.
Oh, hello.
Nice, bro. Well, I appreciate your perspective. I want to speak to this Riley individual because she's been saying things on the live that are not true for the entire live, and this is going to be hilarious.
You're good, man.
Thanks,
We
man.
have very different opinions, but I do want to know your opinion on Brexit.
So when the referendum happened, I was pro Brexit. Now I'm not really so sure. I think maybe I think it was sold to us as something that it wasn't really. Most people voted for Brexit because of they wanted less immigration. That didn't happen. So now it kind of the benefits.
Sorry, hold on.
Now the negatives outweigh the benefits because people didn't get what they want from Brexit. So I don't see what the point of it was now, because most people voted for it for more autonomy and reduced immigration, and neither of those things happened. So what was the point?
I can say that I do really respect your opinion on that. Do you think if Brexit was still a thing that you would want to live in England, or not in England, in Europe somewhere?
I'm probably going to travel into Europe. I think they're still settling some certain agreements.
Have you not traveled Europe?
I've traveled to a lot of places in Europe, yeah.
Okay.
But obviously, like it was easier to stay in Europe for long periods of time before Brexit. But I'm still probably going to do it. But it's just that you have to do it in a different, more tactful way. And I don't know what travel arrangements they're going to make because they're still negotiating.
Let's go back to our travel conversation, because I live in Nebraska. And it does if I want to go to Atlanta, it's about $250. If I want to go to New York, it's about $300. If I want to go to LA, it's about $300.
Are you talking about return flights?
Yes, both.
So it's like
But
$150.
still, $150. I mean, I could go from London to Greece when I lived there for £20.
So you're going Nebraska to where?
To LA.
Okay, let's see how much the flights are. So it's got for me, it's got return flights for £181. That's like $240, something like that.
Yeah, which is kind of insane. Like that's expensive for America. When I could go to Greece or
No, I just found a one-way flight for £43.
What's the travel though? That's the thing.
It's a 3 hour and 20-minute journey non-stop from Omaha to Los Angeles. We got her.
What's the airline?
That's why you should have listened to the mansplaining.
What's the airline? Because I'm not seeing that on my end.
Allegiant.
1 second, I'm just looking up the flight.
You should have listened to the mansplain.
So the cheapest I'm seeing right now is $120 for Allegiant, which is not like that's for a lot of people is not cheap compared to flying to Greece for £20 if I wanted to. When I did live
£20 from where?
When I did live in London, I was flying from Heathrow or Gatwick to Greece for £20.
That's
or to
pretty
Malta
lucky.
or to Monaco or to Spain.
Not for £20 though.
I was, yeah.
You went
I
20.
think the most expensive flight I spent over there was probably to Malta, and it was because we had to change it last minute, and that was for £100.
But you probably flew to Greece in the when the weather was cold, right?
No, I wasn't there in September when I was swimming in the ocean.
September.
Yeah,
It's not hot in Greece in September.
I was there. I was swimming in the ocean. It was hot.
Was it hot?
It was like 80 degrees, yeah.
Well, September is like the cheapest month to fly, isn't it?
And it was still, yeah, like, it was still mid-weather. Like, I could still fly there to Greece, a completely different culture, a completely different scenery for less than $100.
Yeah, but you know that Greece is a different country, right?
Yeah, I'm not stupid.
But then why are you bringing it up when we're comparing travel within the UK to travel within the
Because
USA?
why are you spending $300 to travel to a completely different state when you can spend
It's not $300.
£20 and travel to a completely different country?
We just established that it's not $300.
It is. I just looked it up on my end.
I just looked it up as well, and it was £40. And we also gave you other examples of cities in the United States that were like £35.
It's $120. Okay, what's another city then?
We already did an example. We did Atlanta to Miami.
Let's look Omaha, Atlanta.
Omaha to Atlanta. Should we do that?
$250?
I got £86 right here. £78.
I have $250 for the cheapest.
Are you looking at the cheapest on what day? Are you talking about today?
Yeah.
Okay, well obviously nobody books a flight on the same day.
Let me look at the date. Hold on.
Because I'm seeing them all here and it's like
June
78,
26th.
79.
June 26th, $250.
Okay, but there's also flights that are like $70 or £70, which is like $90.
Not that I'm saying, no.
The point is, anyway, you're missing the point. The point is, we're not comparing the UK
Also,
and Europe.
I have another genuine
Wait.
question.
We're not comparing the UK and Europe. We're comparing the UK to the USA. So you can't, in the comparison, you can't leave the UK. So don't you think it's kind of delusional?
Why can't you say that when you have the whole
Because
of
it's
Europe to
obvious.
travel when you live over there?
Europe is not inside the UK. Are you aware of that?
Am I saying that it's not? But you can still travel over there.
Yeah, and then you leave the UK.
And?
So we're comparing.
Good point.
We're comparing travel costs within the country. Do you understand that?
So travel costs are still more within the US than the UK.
Not necessarily, because you can get a plane.
Also, I have another question for you. You hate the NHS, right?
Well, I didn't say I hated them.
You talk
It's not-
ignorantly about them. So why don't you just switch to a private insurance?
How do I
and
talk?
pay about
Tell me how I talk ignorantly about them.
You
You
always
should have
talk about-
listened to the mansplain, baby.
No, I'm genuinely
You should have
curious
listened to the
as to why you don't
mansplain.
just go private. Because your guys' private insurance is still cheaper than our private insurance.
So your question is, why do I criticize the NHS when I could go private?
Exactly, because I think the biggest thing with the NHS is people are using the system that don't need the system.
So you think that you can't criticize the NHS
I'm not
unless you're
saying that. Did I say that?
That's your critique.
No, I'm saying that you don't like the NHS and you speak negatively about it, but you could probably afford private health insurance.
But I've already created.
You give viewers £15
I've already created. No, I don't. I've already created a solution to my issues with the NHS by moving to the United States, wherein I will obtain
and you think
private.
that your twins and NHS care are going to be cheaper than the United States.
Wherein, listen, you don't listen enough. That's your problem. Listen to the mansplain.
I'm listening to you.
Wherein,
yeah, I am.
You're asking me why don't I have private healthcare in the UK? Why would I get private healthcare in the UK if I'm moving to the USA?
Because it's still cheaper than the USA.
I'm moving to the USA, so why would I get private healthcare in the UK?
So why are you using the NHS if you're moving to the United States?
I'm not using the NHS. I've used it in the past.
Okay, so why, if you get sick right now, or your twins get sick right now, what are you going to do?
Well,
use the NHS?
Almost every hospital in the entire country is an NHS hospital. You do realize that?
I've used it.
So you kind of have no choice but to use it. You realize that, right?
So when do you plan on moving to America?
What does that have to do with my criticisms of the NHS?
Because if you're moving in 6 months, you should still probably have health insurance that you can rely on for your family.
What does that have to do with my criticisms of the NHS?
Because you
criticize it. What criticism am I talking about? Like, tell me what criticism I've made.
I genuinely think that people overuse the NHS. People that don't need to be using it.
What criticism have I made?
That you, in the past,
what criticism have I made?
Have afforded private health
Listen,
insurance.
okay, we're not gonna have you yap and waffle on my live. I'm gonna set you right, okay? You need to listen more to the mansplain because you're one of those yappers. Like, you're yapping on the live too much. You need to listen. You know, don't get hysterical. Just calm down. Listen to the points being made. You're one of those, what about this and what about that and what about this and what about that kind of people. Like, just calm down, okay? Take a deep breath and respond and just say, like, what criticism I have of the NHS that you disagree with, okay? I'm gonna unmute you now.
So your whole thing about America is freedom of speech, but then you mute someone?
Okay, did you hear the point that I just made? Crazy. Did you hear the point that I just made? Okay, now you're gonna get mansplained again. Oh, you run away. I know it's scary to talk to a smart man. It's okay.
I'm not scared.
No, you're scared. Wait, say what you wanted to say again. I'm joking. I kicked you now because you was being silly after I gave you a chance. Nah, 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 nah. What about this and what about that and what about this and what about that? Where is your husband? Where is your husband? Stop! I'm literally letting you use female privilege to even stay on the live. I don't want to be a meanie. I mean, you'll tell everybody that I got a small Peter. So I don't want to kick you. I'm giving you the female privilege. You're gonna tell everyone I got a small Johnson. So I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want to be mean. I'm giving you the female privilege. Oh. Verse said, I'm a Naija boy.
Yo, what you saying, bro?
What you saying?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I kind of wanted to chat to that girl because she was saying a lot of nonsense.
You don't want to chat to that girl, man.
Yeah, I can't lie.
I
don't know what she was talking about.
Mate, there's so many people like that in our society now, and that's realistically how you have to deal with them.
What does she mean? There's too many people using the NHS. That's what the NHS is for.
She just wants to waffle and hear herself speak. Everything she said has just been of no merit in the whole conversation.
And then the problem with the NHS is too many people using it. It's like it's completely understaffed and underfunded. So I don't know what.
Oh, I don't know about all that. I don't know about it being underfunded.
That's why the doctors were on strike. Like my parents both work in the NHS and they were on strike.
Oh, you're biased, man. The only people that say stuff like that have family members that work for it. Of course, your parents are on strike. They want more money. Didn't they just get a pay rise of like 5%?
They didn't match inflation.
Yeah, they did. Look, doctor. Oh, did they not accept it?
I don't remember what happened initially.
Yeah, they're getting a 5.4% pay rise this year. They didn't deserve that.
Inflation 10%.
I don't know if it's inflation adjusted or not.
I'm pretty sure it didn't match the inflation though. Either way,
They still didn't deserve it.
It's either way. Doctors in this country are like way underpaid than other countries.
No, they're not.
Do you not think?
Nah.
In America, for the same job, you can get 10 times the amount.
Yeah, but that's because they have a better actual service. You should get paid based on the value that you're providing. They're not doing a good job. Oh, I know why it's echoing. I'm really sorry about this, guys. I have a way of solving the echo, but I have to do it tomorrow. It's to do with how the audio is being transmitted into the microphone from a speaker, and I've got a Bluetooth receiver that I'm going to use and connect that to the mixer tomorrow. So don't worry. I'm sorry about the echo, but we got 100 people watching live. Sorry, carry on. Ayas.
Yes. It's gone. No, I didn't even come on here to chat about that. I'll be real. I just came to chat about like why the US is worse than the UK.
Feel free. Go ahead.
First of all, if you look at like who's running the US, it's fucking Donald Trump right now, isn't it? He's actually ruining everything. What did he try to do the other day? He tried to make it so that Harvard doesn't accept international students. He's obviously doing the whole mass deportation thing. There's people who are like dual nationalities. They can't even go out because they're scared they're being deported. So it's not safe for anybody who's not white there. What else we got?
Where are you getting this stuff from?
What? Do you not watch the news, bro?
Is that where you're getting it from?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good, is it?
Wait, where'd you get your information from?
Well, you know, you can get it from the news, but you have to use your discernment.
Yeah, I know, but this is literally the stuff that.
But you're not using discernment.
I mean, that's what Donald Trump is literally saying that he's doing as well.
He's saying that it's not safe for non-whites. Don't go outside, boy. We're gonna get you with the truck.
What's this guy say? You already know his talking points. He got a Palestine Mexican flag. That's not a Palestine flag. That's a Sudan flag, bro.
No, but what I'm trying to say, bro, is you really think that it's not safe for non-whites in the USA? Really?
Not all the non-whites, but the ones that have dual nationalities. So people that come from Latin America, particularly, the ones that have US citizenship, but they also come from there as well. They be sending them back.
You can't send back someone with citizenship.
They've been doing it. Did you not hear about that guy from El Salvador?
What's his name?
He was sent back. I don't know his name.
Was he a citizen?
He was wrongfully sent back to El Salvador, and then this Democrat diplomat tried to go negotiate. He couldn't get
So
it
if
back.
if he's not a citizen, are you going to concede that you were wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look and see if he was a citizen.
With the El Salvador guy.
So he was accused of being, I've got him up here, Kilmar Abrigo Garcia.
Was he not a citizen?
So he had a US citizen wife.
That means he gets a green card.
Not necessarily. It depends on how
That's
he.
literally
No, it depends on.
That's
How,
why you get a green card if you marry
it
a US
depends. It depends on how he went through the application process. So, and you can still be deported if you've got a green card.
Either way, there was.
So he's not a citizen, basically. That's why he got deported.
But he was still wrongfully deported, apparently.
Why was he wrongfully deported?
I don't know why. That's just what I've been feeling.
Come on, G. Come on, G. Come on, G.
That's just what I've seen on the news, man.
How old are you?
19.
Come on, man. You can. I know you're a smart guy, man. You can do better than just believing random stuff you see on the news, not doing no due diligence. I know it's just a TikTok live, but come on, man. We're trying to raise the level of the public consciousness out here.
I get you, man. All right. Do you think that USA is better than UK though?
Oh yeah, I definitely do.
You do?
Yup.
Why is that?
Because it is, man. That's why people always have to resort to propaganda talking points. It's like when someone, it's like when someone's a top G in life, and then people are like, I heard he did this. It's like that kind of thing. Like, they're just jealous. Like, oh my god, I heard he treats his girlfriend really bad. They just don't know what to say, so they make up cap.
Wait, do you think that the US is safer than the UK?
I don't think that it's safer on average, but I think that there are many places in the USA that are even bigger than the UK that are safer. Like, I always say this, you could fit probably 30 UKs in the USA that are safer than the UK. And then maybe there's like 12 like UKs of unsafe places. So if you have over 50, put it this way, over 50% of the country is probably safer than the UK. You just have to pick the place that you want to be. Do you get me? HMP Breezy is calling me a waffler. Oh my god.
What about all like the gun crime and shit? All the school shootings happen all over.
They're not very common.
You sure?
I'm positive.
I swear they be happening every day, no?
What? School shootings?
I don't know. I know that shootings be happening every day. I mean, I know we've got it bad as well in the UK. We've got knife violence. I don't know whether it's proportional. Like for the amount of for our population, I don't know if it's proportional.
Well, if something's not very likely to happen to me, I couldn't give a toss about it. And if I'm not in a gang, then I don't think I'm going to be experiencing any violent crime.
Whereas if you're in the US, you can be shot and shot.
Have you experienced any violent crime? Where do you live? I'm assuming you live in London, right?
No, I don't.
Where do you live?
Near Notts.
Okay, Nottingham's a pretty violent city. So, have you ever experienced violent crime?
No, I don't live there. I live near there. That's just like sort of like a geographic sort of standpoint.
Oh, I know where you live. It's that place, Mansfield.
No. It's not that close. But I live in a town that's near Notts, like about half an hour away. But that's just what I tell people because people are not going to know my town. But
I'm trying to figure out where it is now.
Personally, I'm quite safe in the UK. There's a very low chance of me getting stabbed. I'm not affiliated with any gangs or any violence like that. Whereas in the US, obviously people are allowed to freely carry weapons. And obviously there's people who get shot every single day in the US. And it can happen anywhere. It happens in schools, happens in public. Like, I know there's certain areas that are safer than others, but it can literally happen anywhere.
You know, like most of the world has that same issue that bad things can happen.
I know that, but we're comparing the UK and the US right now.
Yeah, I know. I just think it's interesting how people make that the thing that makes them think that it's not better or that should stop someone going somewhere. Like, there's so many places in the world that are amazing, but if you look at the crime rate, you're going to be like, oh my god, the crime rate's higher. But it's like, crime is not likely to happen. I think we should talk about stuff that actually genuinely affects everyday people. If you're going to move to the USA and you move to a ghetto, then you're just a silly Billy, aren't you? You're asking for it. You need to do a little bit of research before you move somewhere. And you know, dude, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna go all the way to the don't go to the USA and live in the south side of Chicago, guys.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
What are your reasons though for like supporting US over UK? Like, you think US is better?
1A, 2A. Okay. First Amendment, Second Amendment. Okay. That money. The American dollar. You want to get that bread, right? Like, I just think there's so much to it. For me, I want to live in a place where I have freedom. I want to live in a place where I can homeschool my kids, where I don't have to vaccinate them, where I can just do my thing, live my life. I have medical freedom. I can choose what I want to do and not have like some tyrannical state government or federal government come in and mess me around. I want to be able to defend myself. Like, when my kids turn, like, you know what I'm saying, 14, 15, daddy bought you a new pistol, you want to go in the forest and shoot some stuff. Like, I want to live free. I don't want to live in like a slave system like how the UK is, where you can't do anything and the government has their hand in every part. Like, I just, you know what I mean?
I kind of see what you mean.
Like, and I want to buy land, and the land is expensive in the USA, in the UK. So you could go to like the southeastern United States, buy land, have some animals, build a house, and you can do whatever the hell you want, bro. Like, you really can do that whatever you want.
I feel like some of the stuff you mentioned, you can do that in the UK anyway.
Like what?
Like that whole homeschooling your kids and then like,
No, you can't.
vaccinating.
No, you can't. There's UK case law now that means that the local authority can forcibly vaccinate your children. So.
Do you not believe in vaccines?
No, you cannot. The local authority can forcibly vaccinate your children. That is a fact. One.
Okay.
Two, homeschooling. They're about to pass a bill called what is it? The child. What is the new children's welfare bill? Something new children's bill. I always forget what this is called. It's called Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill. So that will mean that the local authority can require you to put your children in public school and not homeschool them. So in terms of
that would depend on an assessment from the government.
No, because they can no.
Homeschool them or not.
No, if they are doing the assessment, they can do that at that point. So if they're undertaking an investigation into you, they can tell you, you put your kids in homeschool, we're going to take them away in public school, they're going to take them away from you if this bill passes. And then on top of that, just in general, like the parental choice is not as great as it is in the United States. You have way more choice. Like most states, you just tell the government, look, I'm taking my kid out of school, you ain't going to do shit about it. You take your kid out of school, that's the end of it. You might have to sign a form. UK, they'll send social services to your door. It's very, very different. Like, you have way more freedom in the United States. And then you got freedom of speech, you got the right to protect yourself. And you also have to look at the trajectory, like where the UK is heading. All of the things I described are getting worse. So you're going to get less medical freedom, less parental choice. Probably there's going to be higher taxes before the end of Labour's term. So you got to see the writing on the wall, and there's more economic opportunity in the United States. So why would you want to raise your kids somewhere that's stagnating or declining?
Do you not think that the US is totally fucking up their economy right now with all these tariffs?
No.
Because they seem to be setting tariffs on every single country, and then especially they have this whole thing with China.
But is their economy really messed up when it's still like the best economy in the world?
Is it the best economy in the world?
Yeah, and it recovered better than the UK economy. The UK economy is the one that's struggling for what it's worth.
Yeah, the US is a lot of a richer nation than the UK.
Yeah, that's the point. That's why it's better. Well, it's one of the reasons why it's better.
I guess I don't know. I don't know if that's like a way you can determine which country is better.
You should go there, see it for yourself. I'm going there soon.
Oh no, listen, I've been there. I've been to New York and I've been to Washington DC.
Oh Lord,
I loved it there. It was great.
Yeah, New York's cool. I like New York, but you know, you gotta go to the real America.
Where's that?
You know, some of the other cities in different states. I mean, I quite like Scottsdale, Arizona. There's places like Charlotte, Raleigh. I'm going to Greenville, South Carolina. You could go upstate. You go upstate New York, like Buffalo. I want to visit San Diego as well at some point one day. Boise, Idaho, I want to visit too. I mean, there's a lot of cities in the United States that are not LA, New York, and Chicago. Even Tampa Bay area was quite nice. Salt Lake City, Utah, yep. Someone said Black Hills, South Dakota. Someone said San Diego is a dump. Yeah, it's a dump, but like it's still an interesting place to visit. They say it's a dump, but people hate on California a lot. California, I think, is it's got some redeeming qualities that people don't like to talk about. But yeah, man, like
California seems like a really cool place, but then isn't everything super expensive there?
Yeah, things are expensive, but it depends on like where you visit in the place and like how much money you got. If you're gonna be somewhere like California, of course, there's places there that are awesome.
In LA, homelessness is a huge problem there. They've got like whole areas that are just full of homeless people's tents.
Of course,
drug usage is really high. especially since they've got people coming over the border distributing a lot of fentanyl.
Listen, I'm not saying that someone should move to the USA and move to LA. Maybe they should, depending on what they want to do, but that's not the kind of place where I would say for someone to move to. But hey, Bor, I'm going to drop you down because we literally have like 5 requesters right now. So, but thanks for your perspective. Let's get 2 people on at the same time, actually. So, yeah, thank you. We're still live, guys, on YouTube at State of Deception. Oh, let me check YouTube comments. I need to keep the YouTube screen up. I'm going to get 2 people up at the same time. What's up?
Yeah, so listen, I kind of agree with what you're saying, but disagree. Amy, go on, you go first, because I know you wanted to say a few things.
Oh no, it's fine. I was just wondering, on the basis of, for example, you said about homeschooling. Homeschooling will still be allowed, but it will be, you have to provide a basic education for things like maths, science, English, so basic things you need in life. So I don't see the point you were making with the homeschooling, because it will still be allowed. It was just a question I wanted to ask of, what have you read that says that you can't?
Oh yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, it is allowed in this country. It's not social services every time. Like, it's not like, as long as it happens all the time. Like the travelling community, that's what they do a lot, don't they?
Yeah. So what it is there's a new bill being introduced called the Children and Wellbeing Bill, and it basically gives them a veto power. So I'm not saying that you can't homeschool in the UK. I'm saying you have less parental rights because they can come in and say to you that you're not allowed to homeschool. So that effectively gives you less rights than you would have in the United States.
Is that the same thing you were talking about with the compulsory vaccinations?
No, that's a different thing. That's case law precedent that's been set by the court, whereby they can put a child protection investigation on you, and they can vaccinate your child while the child protection investigation is going on. And but the basis of the child protection investigation can be that you didn't want to vaccinate your child, which means that they can forcibly vaccinate your child.
Yeah, see, child protection is different. That's when social services are involved, and they will.
No, you're not understanding what I'm saying. They can make social services involved because you're not vaccinated. Then, while the investigation is going on, they can vaccinate your child.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
Because last
yes,
time
they
the
can.
compulsory vaccination.
Yes, they can. I can
The
pull up.
last
I can pull up the case for
vaccination
you.
was the smallpox vaccine, and that was.
I can pull up the case law
in
for.
1940 in the UK.
Do you want me to
That's the
pull
last
up?
compulsory one?
No, I'm saying that they can. It's not that it's compulsory for everyone. I'm saying that they can forcibly vaccinate your child by putting a child protection investigation on you and doing it while the investigation's on without your consent. And there's case law that also states that vaccination is in the best interest of the child, which means that it's the court's position that if the local authority did that they would be doing the right thing. So you can forcibly vaccinate a child.
Just one thing. Are you using TikTok Studio?
No.
Our mic's echoing, not just ours, but even the previous.
Yeah, I know why it's doing it. It's because the speaker. I've got a microphone that I'm using. It's a whole thing, but
is it okay?
I'll sort it out soon.
No problem. Yeah, so can I just touch on this a little bit, if you don't mind, Amy? US is better than the UK. Yeah, I kind of agree to a point at the minute, with Donald Trump especially, doing a lot of deals and making a lot of money for the country. I think that's a good thing. But I disagree as well with the reality of homelessness in America is a lot more. I know there's more people, granted.
It's actually less.
I'd like to show you. I'd like to give you some stats on that.
Sure.
I believe it's more. But also, I want to say, not to mention all the school stuff, what's going on. I don't want to say because I don't want to get banned. Bananas, you know what I'm saying? Lots of drug, a big drug problem. Okay. The mental health in America is huge. It's massive. It's a real problem. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's a lot of bad things going on in America.
So those things apply to the UK as well. Drug problem, highest rate of drug use. It's basically the same scale. The drug and alcohol use in the UK is off the charts. The mental health, the biggest mental health crisis in UK history is currently going on now. The NHS waiting list for psychiatric care, longest it's ever been in history. The self-reported satisfaction of the people in the UK, lowest it's ever been. So the mental health crisis in the UK is just as bad.
What I'm getting at is not that. It's the fact that we've seen time and time again school shootings, non-stop in America. It's happening all the time. right?
No, it's not.
How is it not?
It's an
May I
extremely
just
rare
interject there
event.
as well?
I know
Obviously, you mentioned about you wanted to move to America. Well, if you were in America, you'd be able to, buy a handgun or anything, and then, take your kid out shooting at whatever land you have and everything like that.
Yeah.
But you can still do that in the UK because under 18s can join gun clubs, and you can do it in a safe environment, and you can teach your child how to use, for example, rifles, handguns, shotguns, that kind of thing.
Oh, I wouldn't
So
get a
long as it's in
license.
a licensed area.
I wouldn't get a license.
But
you need a license.
No, but
You
I
wouldn't
wouldn't.
need a
I wouldn't.
license.
I
Well-
wouldn't get a license.
But you need one.
you need a
That,
license.
no, I'm
In
saying
America,
I
you
wouldn't.
need a
No, no, no.
license.
Listen, I wouldn't be issued a license. And also, if you're an American citizen, you don't need a license in majority of states to own a weapon.
To start shooting, you're going in the forest, in a public forest.
You don't need a license to carry in the majority
But you
of
can
states.
to carry, to shoot. You're talking about going into a forest.
No, I'm saying that you don't need a license to carry a weapon in the majority of the
But
United
if you
States.
shoot, you need a license.
If you shoot a gun, you need a license. No, you don't.
You just said if you go into the forest and start shooting stuff like this, you need a license to do this.
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying you don't need a license. In the
You don't
UK,
need- so hang on. So you're telling me in America you can buy a gun, go to a public forest and start shooting
it depends on where you're at. But if you're on your own land, of course you can.
on your own land? It's different. That's
Yeah.
not public.
But that's what I said.
Oh, so shooting on your own land? That's the same here.
No, but you can't do that here
In
because
the
I wouldn't
UK.
get I wouldn't be issued a license in the UK.
Neither would I. I've got a history of mental health within the last 15 years, so I wouldn't be issued a gun license.
Yeah, I have severe PTSD. I have severe PTSD, and I also have a previous criminal record, so I would never be able to get a gun license in the UK.
Out of interest, with your criminal record, was it what would be considered in the UK a violent crime?
Yeah, when I was 16.
Would you get one in America? Would you get a license in America with your mental health problem or whatever you had?
I don't have a. I wouldn't really consider PTSD to be a
Sorry, I didn't hear
classical
what you said.
mental health
Wow.
problem.
So whatever you had.
So when I become a United States citizen, obviously I won't be able to get a gun legally in America from a visa status, even if I don't even know if green card holders can. I think no, green card holders can, but not if you have a temporary visa status. I'm not 100% certain on the right to bear arms for.
I
green
will
card
admit,
holders,
I've just Googled it just to see if the gun license thing was a thing in America. You don't have to have a license to own a firearm, but
Of course you don't.
You would be effectively have to have a license of some sort or be subject to a check in order to buy a firearm.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's not
Which
true.
would be-
That's not-
It's a state by state thing. It's not like a.
You don't need a
legislation,
license to
it's a-
You don't need a license to fire a firearm on your land.
Not on your
No,
land.
of course you don't.
That's on your land.
So that's what I've been saying the whole time. Is
Okay. So that's different, bro. I could. Anyone could do it on their own land, couldn't they?
But there's other places that you can discharge a firearm. Like it's not like like you don't need a license to shoot a gun.
No, neither in
The
England.
thing,
And
no,
they're all
you don't. You don't need a license to shoot a firearm in the UK. Like
But you wouldn't get the firearm in the
mental
UK.
health, so
I wouldn't get a firearm in the UK. And anyway, the main point about the reason why firearms are good is because of their primary use case, which is self-defense. And you're not allowed to use a firearm.
Self-defense against whom?
You're not allowed to use a firearm for self-defense in the UK.
Against who?
Against a belligerent.
why would you have to have a firearm for self-defense?
It doesn't matter why.
What
It's
are
the fact that you
defending
can.
yourself against?
It's the
Exactly,
fact that
that's
it's the fact that you can defend yourself, which makes it better.
But we can defend ourselves with fists.
No, but
You can defend yourself with fists if you're an old lady.
Oh, so an old lady's going to pull out a Magnum, yeah?
Yeah, why not?
Are you kidding?
unless Doris is pulling out a Glock, I don't see the reason why you would need to have a firearm.
It's the most
Well, if that's the
useful.
case, then just give it to old
It's the
people.
most useful self-defense weapon that's pretty much ever been existed.
It's not though. Self-defense is equal force.
That's right.
No, it depends on where you're at, and the US has better self-defense laws because there's many stand your ground states, which means if somebody threatens your life, you can
Exactly,
use
that's
lethal
not
force.
self-defense.
Yeah, it is. That's the definition of self-defense.
No, it's not. It's stand your ground.
Stand your ground is a self-defense law.
So if someone said to you,
It's not.
Yeah, it is because you can hold on one sec. You can use lethal force against someone that threatens your life. That's what the whole stand your ground law is about. If you're in fear,
Exactly. It's use lethal force, not equal force. Stand your
That's
ground law
self-defense.
is the same law, effectively, that we have in the UK.
No, it's not.
Every man has a right to protect his castle.
no, it's not. It's
Well,
not.
I'll tell you why it is.
not.
I'll tell you how it is.
It's not.
Because Okay, okay. The guy who got his house burgled, can you remember? He went to prison for shooting the guy in the back. Can you remember in England, in Scotland?
I recall. I know the case. I think I know the case.
Okay,
referring
so
to.
but if he'd just detained him and stopped him, then you know what, he wouldn't have gone to prison. The fact that he used more force than what he should have done, he went to prison for it.
That's what was determined. But in most
exactly, that's why I went to prison.
No, but in most states in the United States, if somebody enters your house, if someone enters your abode, even if you shot them in the back, it wouldn't matter. Now it depends on the circumstances. Like if someone,
is the exact same
listen,
law
let me
as in
talk.
the UK
No,
or
it's not
Protected
the
Castle.
same. No, it's not the same law. It's not the same law. So stand your ground laws are a specific set of laws that stipulate that if you have a reasonable, if you have a genuine belief that someone poses a threat of serious harm to you or death, you can use lethal force to defend yourself. That's not how it works in the UK. In the UK,
that's why America's worse than England.
No, in the UK,
because you're saying you could use more.
Let me
force than what
finish.
they do.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, you said if someone threatens your life, you can unalive.
No, if you believe that they can cause you serious harm or are a threat to your life, you can use lethal force to defend yourself.
That's the same as us.
It's not. You're not letting me explain why it's not the same.
Effectively,
No, let me explain why it's
the US
not the same.
stand your ground law and everything like that
Emma,
is
let
like
me ask
bringing
you
your life
this.
to a gunfight.
She's right,
No,
she's right. Emma, let me ask
she's
you
not
something,
right.
say this.
No,
It's
let me
not
finish.
equal. If
someone went
Guys, I'm
Google
gonna have to
that-
mute you. Let me finish what I'm saying. Right. The reason why it's not the same is because if you carry a weapon for self-defense in the UK, that is considered to be premeditation. That means you cannot use a weapon to defend yourself in the UK because they will consider that
Yes,
it was
you
a.
can.
No, you can't, because they will consider that it was a
You can
premeditation.
if there's an item
So
supplied at that time.
Exactly. So that's not affect. You're not.
Self-defense.
So you have to. So somebody attacks you, and you have to find an item at the time to defend
But if
yourself.
someone attacks you with a brick, then you can pick up a brick and attack them.
But that's what I'm saying. But you can't
So
have a
someone-
weapon to defend yourself
But
with.
if someone's got a
So it's
gun-
not the same as stand your ground laws in the UK, in the USA, is
And
it?
to be fair, in the UK, you're not going to have someone come at you with a Glock or something like that.
You're not
Something
gonna.
like that happen.
You can speak for yourself.
Well, no, generally, as a rule of thumb, unless you live in like London or Solihull, it's not going to happen.
But it doesn't matter because in the USA, it's highly unlikely that someone's going to attack you anyway. But
Okay, I've got-
still have the right to defend yourself, even if
I've
someone
got one
does
for
attack you.
I've got one for you. Please bring up the stats for this. Yeah.
Sure.
How many? Please do this.
Yeah.
How many people in America, in England, sorry, last year died of gun violence in England, and then give me the gun violence in America last year alone.
I know that the violent crime rate is approximately 3 to 4 times higher in the United States.
Right, and you're telling me it's better.
It is better.
So how's that? You just told me it's more dangerous.
It's more dangerous, but that doesn't mean it's not better.
It's more dangerous.
Yeah, but it's still
So,
very. It's
guys,
still.
I'll
It's
tell you-
still
I'll tell you
very.
the
It's
stats.
still
Let's bring the
very.
stats up. Tell them the figures.
I don't have the figures, but
Well, can
I
tell you
just
now that-
told you
how
that
many-
it's 3 to 4
I can
times
tell you
higher.
now, how many people do you think got unalived by a gun last year?
It doesn't matter whether they were unalived by a gun or a knife.
No, but I'm going to prove to you guns don't work.
Listen.
I'm going to prove to you guns don't work.
Listen, the
Ready?
statistic.
No, come on, we're talking about guns. Come on.
Listen
Let's
to
talk
me.
about stats.
The statistic is violent crime. I have accepted that the violent crime rate is higher in the United States. The issue is that violent crime is not a likely thing anyway. So that's not something that would stop me moving to the United States because it's still highly unlikely that I'm going to be a victim of violent crime. You have to think about proportionality when you're talking about whether something is a risk to you or not. If something is really unlikely to happen, but it's more likely than somewhere else, but it's still really unlikely,
Let me ask you this.
why would that stop me from going to that place?
Let's say New York. Are you allowed to walk around with a Glock?
In New York City, I don't think you can be unless you have a concealed carry permit, and
Okay.
they don't. They've been operating unconstitutionally because they don't
Watch
allow
this.
people to.
Why is that? Why is that?
Because New York is a lot more similar to the UK in how it does this.
Hang on, it's the same. No, America.
Right.
It's meant to be similar to America. It's American stuff, yeah?
No,
So
New
why is
York
that?
City is a lot more similar to the UK in how
Why?
it does itself. Because it's got more socialist
just
thinking
going
people
back
like
to-
you guys.
Obviously, we both said both of us have a history of mental health, so neither of us would be granted a firearms license in the UK.
Well, I think the reason I wouldn't be granted one is
It's
because
a risky.
of
To be fair,
the
it's
police
their
are
thing.
against
They
me.
don't want either of us to have a little bit of a blip and go out and take out a whole office building or something like that.
No, it's just because it's a
But-
tyrannical state. Sorry, you go on.
You say that my partner, who I live with in the same house, has a firearms license.
Yeah, but he can't use the firearm to defend
In our
himself.
bedroom, well, no, but in our bedroom at the moment, in a locked gun cabinet, which I don't have access to, obviously, there are 2 shotguns and 2 rifles.
Yeah, that
He's
sucks.
granted a firearms license, but when I moved in, we had to have a visit from our local firearms officer to ensure that effectively I wasn't going on a rampage or anything like that. But in America, you can have a father who's got 6 shotguns, 8 rifles, a semi-automatic rifle in the house with their 18-year-old son who's got a history of severe mental health issues. I personally have DPD, which, the same as PTSD, is a trauma response mental health condition.
Yeah, because why should that
He
affect the
is-
dad's
they-
ability
but
to
in
defend
America,
himself?
They're allowed to have those weapons. They don't
Yeah.
have to have them in a locked gun cabinet. Like
Yeah,
we
that's
do here.
good.
What? So it's good to have somebody that's got severe mental health history, allowed access effectively to unsecured weapons.
That's better. There's no echo now. The echo's gone.
Yeah, I know how to
One
solve the
doesn't
echo.
have
It's just
license
difficult. It's
or
just
is allowed to have
a
them.
toggle. So yeah, it is a good thing that people are able to defend themselves, if that's what you're asking. If you're talking about the risk,
that
let
wasn't
me
what I was
finish.
asking.
Let me finish.
It was
Let
the
me finish.
access
Yeah. So
weaponry.
let me finish speaking. If you're saying that the risk posed by an individual who is has weapons, and then someone near them has a history of mental illness and has access to the weapons, you realize that they can be charged if those weapons are used against somebody else. So if you allow
of course
someone,
I do.
if you don't properly secure your weapons, and someone in your family takes that weapon and goes and does something that has a history of mental illness, you can be charged for what they did.
Yeah, I know. In
Okay.
the UK, at least.
So we can't protect against every eventuality. For example, a farmer with a shotgun who puts it in a locked cabinet could live in a house with someone who's mentally ill. Goes
They
and gets,
don't have to have it locked away.
okay, cool. Let's say a farmer that doesn't have it locked away, then they can go enter the house and take the weapon. A mother who's a top chef, or any mother that cooks or whatever, might have a row of kitchen knives in the kitchen. Her son with mental illness can walk into the kitchen, get a kitchen knife. We can't protect against every eventuality
I get that,
and pretend that weapons are the reason why bad things happen.
Every single mass shooting in America over the last 20, 30 years, what weapon did they use?
Well, you just said, because you said shooting.
What? No, but what weapon? Which one? Which?
Most weapons are done with most mass shootings are done with pistols.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. You should look that up.
No. Please.
Yes,
stop.
they are. Go and look it up.
Bro, no, they're not. Please.
Yes, they are.
Stay there.
Semi-automatic rifles,
Semi-automatic-
generally.
This is what I mean.
Pistols are semi-automatic weapons. They're not.
Or
They're not.
shotguns.
They're not usually done with those weapons. The most mass shootings take place with pistols.
Semi-automatic rifles are pump action shotguns.
Please look.
Is that what it says?
Yeah. Please check.
Okay, let me check. If I'm wrong, I'll say that I'm wrong. But first, we have to define mass shooting. But let's see. Okay, what weapon is
The most accidental shootings among children in America.
When you say
Okay,
the weapon,
okay, so
what they're allowed to use.
So it says firearm. So where are you getting this statistic about? Because gun used in the deadliest mass shooting. So they've got a lot of misinformation here, haven't they?
To be fair,
handguns
George, in your comments is
Hold
absolutely
on.
right now. The most deaths happen by AR-15,
No, most
which is an
pistols.
automatic rifle.
No, it's pistols. What you've got is, when you search it, you've got a lot of leftist propaganda publications that are trying to misrepresent the question. Like, they'll say guns used in mass shootings, but they're not saying
You search
what gun
statistics
is
at the end of that
most
word, the
used
sentence.
in mass shootings. And then they'll say examples of mass shootings involving assault weapons, which is not even really a thing. But they want to frame it as if it's AR-15s, but it's not AR-15s.
Sandy Hook, you've got Columbine, you've got how many shootings this
Yeah,
year?
but those are the most severe mass shootings in like
every mass shooting
in American history. But a typical mass shooting that would be added to the statistic.
Typical mass shooting.
You're not listen. A typical mass
There shouldn't be
listen.
typical
You're
mass
not listening enough. A typical mass shooting will be someone shooting and then more than one person getting hit. So if a gang member does a drive-by, that could be considered a mass shooting. That will get added to the
which is
statistic.
normally an automatic rifle.
No, it's usually a pistol.
Most impact by most bullets at quicker speed.
It's
gonna be
usually a
something that's
pistol.
either semi-automatic and automatic.
Pistols are the most prevalent weapon used in mass shootings, period. Like, you may be able to put call upon certain examples of mass shootings like Uvalde or Columbine, where other weapons are used, but those are the most severe mass shootings or school shootings or whatever in American history. The typical when you guys say mass shootings happen all the time, what is added, the event that's getting added to the mass shooting statistic is an event where someone shoots and more than one person gets hit. That's getting added as a mass shooting. You understand? I think it might be 2 or 3 or more. So when Pookie sprays up the block, that's a mass shooting. It doesn't mean that he has to walk into a supermarket or a school and start firing at civilians. You understand what I'm saying? So
what you're saying is handguns are the problem?
No, I'm not saying that they're a problem.
Like
I'm saying that gang violence
like
is a
the
problem.
mainly used weapon.
Yes, they are.
So why in the UK we had one school shooting in Dunblane in 1996 and handguns were banned in 1997?
How many mass shootings?
Why can't America?
How many mass
do
shootings
that?
were there before
One.
Dunblane?
There might have been a few, but since then there's not been none.
But,
It was a school
how many
shooting,
were
it
there
was one.
before?
One. It was Dunblane.
So
there was one mass shooting with a handgun, and after that, the legislation came in that handguns were banned. In the UK.
and that was a bad thing.
Dude,
Yeah,
how many school shootings do you think's going on? And since this year alone, what we May?
What, in the United States?
Yeah.
Well, first we have to define
School shootings.
First, we have to define school shooting, because usually what they'll do is say if a firearm is brandished or discharged in the vicinity of a school, they'll call that a school shooting. So
What was the last one?
I don't know, but
April the 17th.
okay. But did you hear what I just
Two
said?
people unalived in school.
But did you-
been talked about? No one even knows.
But you do take the point that majority of the
What was the one before that? Mate?
you do take the point that the majority of the events that are being
After that.
characterized as school shootings are when somebody fires or brandishes a weapon in the vicinity of a school.
There was 2 people unalived at school, bro.
Unalived at school or in the
Yeah,
vicinity of a
don't
school?
you just.
Because most of the things that you think are mass shootings are actually someone getting shot near a school.
The one on May the 7th as well. Check that.
What you need to say the details of the event before you
January
start.
this 22nd.
Are you
Well, there's
gonna-
3 dates this year already. School shootings, bro.
School shooting, as in
Yeah.
someone getting shot near a school.
No, in a school, bro.
Okay, someone got shot in a school,
Yeah.
and you recognize that that's not a very common thing.
Not in England.
Not in the USA either.
Well, you've done 3 already this year.
Yeah, there's 350 million people in the country.
3 this year. It's not in May.
There's 350 million people in the country.
So you're expecting one a month, yeah?
That would be pretty normal, yeah.
I'm sorry, brother. Yeah, that's not normal.
It's not normal
Yeah, it's
for
not
violence
normal
to
have
happen.
Shootings in schools, no.
I just explained to you that the majority of them are not shootings in schools. They are someone getting
I've just
shot
told you 3.
in
Look
the.
them up.
Okay. I've just looked it up, the
Okay.
statistics of, and it's not just schools, but the amount of firearms deaths or firearms related deaths in the UK between 2022 and 2023 was 22 people. In the US, the amount of deaths caused by firearms were nearly 47,000 people, apparently.
So 22
Yeah,
people
and
for 47,000.
60% of those are suicides. First of all,
All right, 47,000.
Yeah, and
22
then
people.
and 60% of them are
You just
suicides.
made that up.
No, I
How
didn't
much?
make
How
that
many
up. You
percent?
can look that up right. About 60% of them are suicides. About
How do you know
55%.
that then?
Huh?
How do you know that?
Because I know what I'm talking about, buddy.
Where do we get these stats from?
Go and look on the FBI statistics.
So 60% of what she's just said. So
About 55% of the.
So let's say you're true. So that's 22,000 people still
Yeah.
unalived
Yeah.
by shooting,
Yeah,
and we've got 22 people.
yeah. But you could. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't. It doesn't
22
matter.
people in the whole year.
Listen.
45,000 in
Listen. It doesn't matter how someone gets killed if they get killed. So the statistic to use is the violent crime rate or the homicide rate. So the violent crime rate we know is higher in the United States. Majority of the violent crime is gang violence, gangs on gangs. That skews the statistic for everybody else. But in the places where you know, if you're not a gang member, the likelihood of you being involved in a shooting is extremely low. Probably roughly the same as a UK citizen.
There's still a lot of kids being unalived in it.
No, there's not a lot of kids. You just don't understand statistics.
The fact that the fact that obviously you mentioned earlier that Trump is doing good things and everything like that, the fact that his answer
Can't hear you, Amy.
I didn't actually say Trump is doing good things, but
Oh, okay, sorry, I misheard you. But
Okay.
in which case, the whole Trump's answer to how to conquer school shootings wasn't gun control, it was to arm teachers.
what's wrong with that? Teachers have a right to bear arms.
Everybody in the US has got a right to bear arms, but it doesn't make it right.
Technically, not everybody. So felons and under with red flag laws, a lot of people.
Check this. You just said felons. What do you think felons are going to do? Do you think they're going to go, I'm not allowed to carry one, so I'm not going to do it?
Well, doesn't that undermine your argument about why there should be gun control?
Well, no, no one should have them. If you take away the guns, you just take away the
But you just said that felons wouldn't comply with that.
Well, if they're not there to get hold of, then how can they?
They are going to be there to get hold of.
How? It's got to be harder, isn't it?
No, it won't be harder. You can get guns in the UK.
So it's just as easy to get one as we did before.
Yeah, it's almost as if the problem isn't the guns, it's the gang, it's the gang violence.
There's a deterrent. People go to prison for 15 years just for holding one.
No, because
That's a deterrent, my
you
friend.
can, but there's a deterrent already because if you have an illegal firearm, you will also go to prison.
What, here in America?
In America, yeah.
But what's an illegal firearm?
If you possess a firearm, if you use an unregistered firearm in an offence, you can.
But you said you've allowed them unregistered.
Well, no, it depends. No, you can't necessarily have them unregistered. If you try to obscure, because guns are made with serial numbers. If you try to obscure a serial number of a weapon,
why would they do that?
Because see, this is what you don't understand: is that most of the crimes that's happening with guns are illegal firearms. They're unregistered firearms. They scratch off the serial numbers. So people that commit these crimes are already doing illegal acts with weapons that are illegally obtained. Do you understand that? So even if you restrict firearm ownership, the people that have weapons that are committing crimes are still going to have weapons and still commit crimes.
But you know what happened in England, in the United, since Dunblane in Scotland? What happened was they give a date where everyone handed their firearms over, and from that day onwards, anyone caught with a firearm, because we ain't going to mess around in this country, you're going to unalive children. It's done. No, listen.
That's silly. You like tyranny then?
No, it's not tyranny.
You think that is tyranny?
It's called protecting our children.
No, that's tyranny. They manipulated you. They
Can I ask you
manipulated
this,
you.
Anna? Let me
They
ask you
manipulated you. They tricked you.
let me ask you this.
They made you think that you didn't have a right to defend yourself
Let me ask you
because
this.
someone did something stupid.
Let me ask
And
you
in addition, you don't even have the right to defend yourself with other weapons. So you don't
let
have the
me
right
ask
to
you
use a
this.
knife, pepper spray, knuckle dusters.
I'm sorry, but unless somebody's coming at you with a firearm, if somebody else has a firearm, which they shouldn't have, you have no reason to defend yourself.
You don't, but
Nobody
you
should
think
carry a firearm.
you don't want to
So
carry a
you don't have
firearm.
to carry a firearm
You don't want to
because
carry a
it's firearm
firearm.
that somebody shouldn't have.
You don't want to carry a firearm, so you think that other people's right to defend themselves should be
Let me ask you
restricted.
this.
I'd love to
Can
carry
I, I've got a serious question for you, man.
Sure.
Go ahead. Since they stopped the firearms in England, right? What using your stats and your knowledge of all this?
Yeah.
How many shootings do you think would have happened if we'd have let the guns stay? How many roughly would you say since 2000? What year was it? 1992, 91, or something like this?
Yeah.
So how many?
97.
97. Sorry. So from 97 till now, using your stats and the way you see the world,
Yeah.
how many shootings do you think would have probably happened in the schools?
In schools, probably none.
There was one stopped literally this year in London.
Oh, but guns have been banned.
Was it?
No, a man got stopped, well, a boy got stopped from,
Yeah, I know.
killed his mother, his brother and his
I
sister.
I know.
That got stopped.
Yeah. So that shows you that shows you.
No, mass shootings I'm talking about. How many? Answer the question, bro. How many do you think would have happened by average? If the guns
No,
were
I don't
still
think
allowed?
any more or less would have happened.
So you don't think any more would have happened if the guns were stayed?
No.
So why did it happen?
Why do shootings happen?
No, why did the school?
There hasn't been one since Dunblane.
There wasn't ones before Dunblane.
Yeah, there was.
Name them.
Bro, it did happen.
There was no mass shootings in the 20 years
There's
before
only ever been one in the
Dunblane.
United Kingdom.
There was no mass shootings in the 20 years before Dunblane. How do you
Okay,
explain
maybe
that?
I don't know.
How do
by
you-
law of averages, it probably would have been.
How
But
do
if-
you? Okay, hold on. I answered your question. I got a question for you. How do you account for and explain the fact that there was no mass shootings in the UK before Dunblane? For the 20 years before Dunblane, how do you explain
Well,
that?
we don't know. I don't know the facts. Let me check. Let me put that.
Okay, sure. And because I don't understand why you think that the gun is the problem as opposed to the gangs or the criminality, or like why are you blaming the
gun's not the the gun's not the problem if it's in the right hands. But unfortunately, we live in a world where we're all warped. That's the truth.
So why don't we? Why don't we?
Wired right.
Why don't we implement licenses to buy a car? Why don't you have to have a license to buy a car then? A car is more dangerous than a gun.
You do need a license to drive a car.
You don't need a license to buy a car.
You have to have a license to drive a car.
But you don't need a license to buy a car.
Okay, but when you've got a license, when you've got a car, when you can't drive it, you get stopped.
Yeah, but think about it. You don't need a license to buy a car. That means someone could just buy a car and drive it into a crowd. Nothing stopping them.
You're right.
Yeah, and
you
the
mean
cars.
like the guy that was stopped in Luton who bought a gun off of a random guy that he'd spoken to on the internet who believed that his firearms license was real and it wasn't.
Yeah, I know about that case. But that's the point of what I'm saying, is that it's not the item being used, it's about the intent of the individual. Any person right now can go and buy a car and commit a mass T attack if they want. There's nothing stopping them. But they don't do it.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
That is a valid point.
Yeah.
It is a valid point. But the problem is, what are guns for?
Self-defense primarily.
No. Is to harm another person, correct?
To harm someone, yeah, in self-defense usually.
Right. What are cars for?
Cars have multiple uses for driving, yeah.
For driving, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you use the word car when you come into this subject, you can say that about bricks, which houses are built out of. You can say that about anything. The truth of the matter is, when you've got yourself a gun, you've only got one reason for that, and that is to harm another person.
Not necessarily.
Okay, what is it then? To tickle them?
For yeah, but you're mischaracterizing harm by, you're making it seem like the harm would be an assault, but the harm could be a justified harm in the form of self-defense.
So it's a harm. But
you're creating the implication that it's not justified harm. Self-defense is justified harm.
But it's still harm.
Yeah, but it would be justified, making it a good thing.
You would have a justified use of a gun in self-defense if somebody else had a gun. So there's gun laws.
Not really. What if they had a knife? And how about this? You asked me how many people would have been unalived
if
in
they
mass.
had a knife, then you can get a knife.
You asked me how many people would have been unalived in mass shootings. How many people could have saved themselves from getting stabbed if people had guns? Did you ever think about that one?
Yeah, but and how many people would have been alive?
How many people could have used? How many people could have used self? Do you know that self-defense is a more common use case for weapons than assault? You realize that?
You know, with the knife.
So the benefit of guns literally outweighs the harm caused.
With a knife, can you run away from a knife?
Depends how fast you are. If you're a granny,
but you can.
If you're a granny or a todger,
listen,
if you're a granny or a todger,
for Christy, if someone's shooting at you, bro, you're going down, dude. It doesn't matter.
No, not necessarily. Or no, because I'll back up my strap.
Dude, if someone's got a gun at you, and you're running down the street, no matter how fast you are, you're getting hit.
If I'm living where,
you're running fast and someone's got a knife,
but that's why I don't want to live in the UK, because I wouldn't even be in that position, because I'll shoot back.
So you'd be in a country where you are less likely to be shot at in the UK, and you deem somewhere that you would have to carry a gun as an option of self-defense.
You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to, but because I don't want to go out like a sucker.
But here's one for you. Right? Round schools, you're not allowed guns, right? What's it saying?
Round schools.
You're not allowed to have guns, correct?
It depends where you are. In some places,
you are. You can't walk around a school with a gun.
That's not necessarily true. There's some.
Even in the US, you're not allowed
In
to
the
walk around.
No, that's not necessarily true.
But you can walk around a school with a gun.
Technically, it depends on the school, but
you wonder why there's mass shootings.
No, because those aren't the places where there's mass shootings. The places with the highest rates of firearm ownership don't have the most mass shootings.
Are you allowed to walk around schools with guns? Yes or no?
It depends on where you are. It depends on the university.
Is there any schools out there which you're not allowed? Watch this.
There's schools where you're not allowed, but there's also schools where you are allowed.
Ready for this? Where's the self-defense for them?
What?
You just said carrying a gun is to self-defense if anyone comes at you to shoot them down. You just said to me that some schools which they're not allowed to have guns. So if they walk on there and start shooting their kids, who's there with a gun to stop them?
No, I'm saying that there are some schools where you can carry guns. I think you should be able to carry guns on school campus.
But you've just said to me right then, without self-defense, right, with a gun, you can't stop them. Correct?
I didn't say that.
But you can.
I said the primary use case of a weapon is for self-defense, and that self-defense is more common a more common use of a firearm than
So
an
you
assault.
just said there's some schools what are not allowed to carry guns.
No, I said there's I'm implying that there's
You
university.
just said yeah.
No, you're not letting me answer the question. Let me explain what I'm saying to you.
No.
There are university campuses, some university campuses, where you are allowed to carry on
And
campus,
some you're not.
and some you're not. Yes.
So the ones that you're not,
Yeah.
that's like living in England. We're not.
Yeah.
Then when someone comes there and starts shooting, who's defending them?
I think they should be able to have weapons,
But they're not.
but I think they should be able to. So it's not a
Okay,
gotcha
that's what
moment.
you think, but they're not.
So what's your point?
So my point is, you're talking about.
So you're advocating for them to have firearms, right?
No, I'm not
So-
advocating. That's what you're advocating.
Exactly.
What
So
I'm
there's
saying
no
is you're
contradiction in what I'm saying.
The problem is they have not got anywhere to protect themselves away from people in America who has guns. That's what I'm saying. They are literally lamb to the slaughter.
That's why they should have guns.
So what are you doing about it?
Well, people are campaigning for people to be able to carry on campus.
At schools?
At universities, for sure. And I think teachers, and there should be security at schools. With armed security.
Some parts of America are actually, it's a lot worse than England because at least here you're not allowed guns complete. In America, you're allowed guns, but not in certain areas. But some people are always going to have them because you allow them. They're going to then walk into them schools and do bad things.
Not necessarily. It's very rare. Let me ask you this:
is also-
when you go to the airport, sorry, Amy, I'll let you speak.
Yeah.
When you go to the airport,
Sorry.
do you think that people should? You think that the security at the airport should have guns?
Well,
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you think it's more important to protect travelers at an airport than kids at a school?
I
No,
think
at
it's
school
more
as well.
important to protect against potential terrorist attacks, yes.
So why don't?
However,
But
going
children
back
are the
to
most
school
vulnerable
thing-
people in society. So why don't we have weapons to protect the
Exactly.
children?
But why do we need
Going
protection?
to the,
Why do we need weapons at the airport to protect people from attack? It's the same reason.
Because
But
I'll tell you why. Because they're not kids and they ain't going to have it. Adults will more likely.
you're the one that wants to defend against school shooting. So why aren't there armed security on the campus or on the school grounds? There should be.
Say that again.
Based on your argument
There's
that you want to prevent school shootings, the same way we prevent crime at airports by having armed people in the airport, children are the most vulnerable people in our society, much more vulnerable than travelers in the airport. There should be armed security to protect the children.
But bro, what you're not getting is we're not travelling to schools.
When
There
it comes to
is a
schools-
million, there is the thousands of people coming in and out of schools. There's school kids and that's it, and they're leaving. There is no passing people from other countries coming to the schools.
So your idea of when there should be guns is when there's lots of people.
Not lots of people. It's not lots of people. It's protection, isn't it? To make sure that look, if there's a plane and there's 200, 300 people on that plane, and someone walks on there with it, that's free. They can't get out. There's no safety for them. You understand? There's no way to get out. That's it.
When-
They're trapped. It's safety, isn't it? It's
I've just had
protection.
a little look, sorry, just to interrupt, I've just had a little look. It's actually a federal law on Gun Free School Zones Act where you cannot have a firearm within 1,000 feet of a school, which means that anybody which is working security on campus or school will not be able to carry a firearm.
Is that
That's a legislation.
is that for all universities as well?
I'm not sure on universities, but
Because that's what I
How
was referring to. Let
dangerous
me
is that?
check because I could be
How
wrong.
dangerous is that?
It's not dangerous at all.
Guns all around the country.
You're just
And
scared, bro. Just admit that
it
you're
doesn't-
scared of
It doesn't
guns.
include universities. But
Yeah, exactly.
That's not going to stop somebody if a security guard is working in elementary school and somebody decides they're going to take an AK-47 or whatever
Yeah.
and go to the primary school to do what they want to do, and that
Probably why
security
the
guard is not
target
allowed to
schools
have
didn't
a
want them to
weapon for your pretense of self-defense, they're not allowed to have a weapon within 1,000 feet of that school.
No, but the security would be allowed to have the weapon.
No,
Yes.
they're not.
No, but
no.
no, there's not a federal law that prevents people from having security on a school campus. That's not a law. It's probably referring to people that are not licensed to do that, or you can get special. Like for example, most people can't have machine guns, but some people can get licensed to
Why
have
don't they
machine
take that
guns.
security out?
It's called the
Then you've got
Gun
a
Free
school full
Zone
of kids
School
with
Act.
no defense.
No, but I understand what you're saying, Amy. But I'm saying to you that with every act, there's people that can get permissions that supersede that act. Like, for example, there are acts that prevent people having automatic weapons, but you can get fully automatic weapons, but you can get a fully automatic weapon if you get the right licensing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Can I say something? A lot of people said keeping guns in America is to stop the government from like taking control and you said something before.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, but you've heard this saying, right?
I've heard people say it, and I always refute it because that's not
But-
why.
but the government is Donald Trump now. Right?
No, he's just the head of one branch of the government.
No, come on, bro. He's the top dog. He's
he's the head of the executive branch of the government.
Okay, but listen, whether you like it or not, he signs off on everything. Okay, yes or no?
Not necessarily everything, but he signs on executive orders because he's the head.
I don't
of
want to get into that point. My point
okay.
is, he is the man who's advocating for guns, isn't he? He's the supporter of this.
Not really. He tried to ban bump stocks. He supports
Why is
2A,
that
let's
bad
say, because it was just a ridiculous ban, and that's why he got blocked by his own Supreme Court judges with his silly, unconstitutional attempt to ban bump stocks.
Has America got soft?
Is it what?
Has it got soft, America?
I mean, probably, yeah.
Is that why
but it hasn't got soft on guns though, because there's a
not soft in people as the people got soft.
I think they're tougher than you people in the UK.
I don't think that's the case.
Because people in the UK don't even understand their own. They don't even understand their own rights. They don't even understand that, like, people. If you did a poll right now in the UK, should you have the right to use a weapon to defend yourself? People say no, and you're asking about if people got soft. Like, UK citizens are soft. They don't even understand self-defense.
No, well, we do.
Really, pepper spray is banned, mate.
Pepper spray is banned from whom?
Pepper spray is illegal. You realise that?
Yeah.
No, pepper spray comes under the Firearms Act.
Exactly.
Yeah, from who? From the people.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Okay.
Do you agree that knuckle dusters and pepper spray should get someone arrested?
Oh, well...
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. You guys are
At the end of the day,
representatives
pepper spray
of
came
the
about because of
quintessential
people in society being likely to attack and being able to defend themselves in a way that's going to not harm, like permanently harm the person that's attacking them, but to render them basically immobile.
You can't have anything. You can't have knives, tasers, bats. You can't carry anything for the purposes of self-defense.
We don't need to live in fear.
Yeah, you might not need to right now, mate. If someone comes at you with a flipping weapon, you're going to be.
Okay.
As a
Fuck,
woman,
bruv.
as a female who doesn't like to walk the streets alone because they are at risk of being attacked, I'm not going to be funny. I've got a can of deep heat.
We can't hear her again, bro.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Sorry. So, as a female, I don't feel comfortable walking alone after dark because I'm more likely to be attacked. So, I don't carry a can of, obviously, pepper spray or anything like that. I carry a can of deep heat.
Oh, don't tell the police that. I'll flipping call the police on you right now. They're coming
It's not
to
an offensive weapon.
Deep heat.
I have a calf injury. Oh no.
If they are. What the fuck are you going to do with deep heat?
Hairspray. I need to keep them little whiffies in place, you know, on my hair. So
Deep
hairspray,
heat.
that's going to blind you for at least 30 seconds.
It's the people. Like you keep saying, it's nothing to do with the actual weapon.
Deep heat.
Yeah, deep heat.
Come on, man. You might as well just cook up a lethal fart if that's what you're going to use for self-defense.
Go straight in your eyes. Tell me it hurts.
Spray deep heat in your eyes, honest to God.
It's worse than pepper spray.
But you know that that's illegal, right?
No, it's not.
It's illegal for you to carry that for the purposes of self-defense.
Why? I have a calf injury. I'm carrying
If
it,
you use that deep heat, you would have to give a good explanation to the police officer.
Yeah.
You'd have to
I'm
say,
using it in self-defense.
yeah, but if you say that, they'll arrest you. You would have to say, I used it.
No, they wouldn't because I have a calf injury.
No, but that's what I'm
not
saying.
carrying
But
it
you'd
for
have to.
premeditated reason of hurting someone.
You would have to
or doing
explain
extreme
that.
injury.
They would ask you like, why were you carrying deep heat? And you'd have to say, oh, I was carrying it for
Yeah, and
my.
I wouldn't get arrested for it.
Yeah, probably
Okay,
not.
so here one. Do you think it should be that you should be able to walk around with an AK-47 around the school?
Round a school.
Yeah.
Like who? I think that there should be security
you
on
walk around the
schools.
school.
I think that there should be armed security on the schools. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Can you walk around the school with an AK-47 at your waist?
Well, you can't do that in the USA anyway.
Why?
Because you're just brandishing a firearm. You're brandishing a firearm in a place
We've
like
got an open license.
I think you should be able to concealed carry on a school
So-
grounds
so
if
you
you're
can- so
above
you
age.
can.
Yeah. On a university campus, I think you should be able to concealed carry. Yeah.
So everyone can walk around with a gun in the pocket, yeah?
I think you should be able to conceal carry on a university campus. If you're above 18, obviously you can't conceal an AK-47 that well. So what that would
Why
be.
can't you? Yeah, but why does it have to be concealed? Why can't it just be shown?
I mean, yeah, open carry as well, but
There we go. So
But not
so
brandishing.
To walk around the school with an AK-47 in your hand.
An AK-47 being brandished is different from an AK-47 being openly carried.
I'm just put it just out in open, everyone can see. You're walking around over your shoulder.
Why not? If you're above 18.
Yeah, bro, I gotta give it to you, bro. I gotta give it. Listen, respect.
I mean, you can walk around. You can walk around the supermarket. You can walk around the street with an AK-47. You might cause people fear, but there's a difference between carrying a weapon and brandishing a weapon. If you brandish a weapon, that's a crime.
Yeah. So AK-47 on your back. Everyone walking around with AK-47s in America. You're happy with it?
Why not?
Bro, you're not. You're out of the dark. It's
People
not allowed
do that. People do that though.
But it's not normal, is it?
Why is it not normal? What city do you think is doing better right now? Like the cities where you can do that, or London?
No, London's a shithole.
Yeah.
At the minute.
So the places you see, the problem is you've never really experienced a culture like that.
Because of people.
Like you can go to a lot of places where it's normal for you to carry a weapon, and yeah, like Homegrown says, like AK-47 is not like a good carry, like a weapon carry. Like you can carry weapons that are much more reasonable to carry, like as a daily carry weapon.
Where does it end? Rocket launchers?
It pretty much just ends where I said, like people, on a school, concealed carry, open carry. Oh, what size weapon? Where does it end?
What was it?
I think you should be able to own a flipping rocket, mate. Flamethrower.
You think you can walk around with a rocket on your back?
The problem is certain weapons cause so much collateral damage that they become more of a threat to everyone as opposed to a threat to an individual that is used for self-defense. So there is the concept of proportionality as well in US law. Now, if you're defending yourself with a rocket launcher, then whatever comes of that, enjoy your time in prison because you're not being reasonable. But if you're using a pistol, that's highly reasonable.
Bro, if someone was running at you with a knife,
yeah,
would you be allowed to send a rocket launcher up its ass?
I think that I should be able to defend myself, with a rocket launcher.
Right.
But so the charge would not be manslaughter or M. The charge would be, reckless use of a firearm. Yeah, not excessive force. It would be a separate charge.
Someone alive with an AK-47, so he's dead. It doesn't matter how.
Yeah, but obviously the rocket launcher would cause collateral damage. So if I was able to use it, say if I was,
so it'd
be about the criminal damage. Yeah, charge him with criminal damage. Yeah,
criminal damage.
Yeah,
that's crazy, bro.
Yeah. Sorry, go on, Amy.
You get a ticket.
If you were
a ticket, 250 quid.
Bit more than that, 400 quid.
If you were able to shoot sorry, I am going to really butt in now. If you were able to shoot a rocket launcher with accuracy and hit the target you're intending to hit, so obviously your threat.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be collateral damage. But if you are telling me that you could spray fire at least 60 rounds of ammunition in about a minute, with accuracy, then you should probably go and join our elite sniper unit because there's no way you are shooting, even within like a 3-second burst, there's no way you are getting that accuracy.
Yeah, but then it depends on the person, but then you're also going to get charged for a lot of you can get charged for, like, people seem to think that just because you can shoot, it means that everything that you do is kosher. No, like, there are cases where people defend themselves with lethal force, kill someone, might accidentally hit someone else, and then they say, okay, was this shot that you fired a criminal act? And then you might get a prison sentence for the criminal act, or you can
damage of taking another person's life should be a manslaughter charge.
You might get a manslaughter charge. That's why you got to be careful with where you're firing your weapon.
Okay, then. So if that's the theory, then and you've got one gang versus another gang, and they're all shooting each other, from block to block, as long as nobody else gets killed, just them, that's all good, yeah.
Not necessarily. It depends on who's firing in self-defense. If somebody goes and tries
each other.
Yeah, but it depends who shot first, because the person who shot first tried to assault or murder someone.
As an 18-year-old in America, which you are legally allowed to own a firearm, go out, 18th birthday, go to Walmart or Target or wherever you can buy firearms in America. What training do they have in basically A, shooting, B, gun control, C, basically maintaining a safe way of shooting?
They should learn at school.
What training do they have to have on their 18th birthday to go and buy a firearm?
They should learn at school.
And they can go and buy an AK-47, or basically, they can't buy an assault rifle. They could buy a semi-automatic assault rifle, at 18 years old on their 18th birthday, what training have they had?
I'm gonna buy my son a semi-automatic weapon on his 18th birthday.
Are you?
Why?
Because I love him.
Yeah, so you love him, so you're giving him basically the power to take somebody else's life in an act of what they conceive as a threat, which isn't actually a threat. Like, say they've got a guy running at them.
No, because
not even like
they would be
brandishing a weapon, and your child would then do 25 years to life.
No, now you're
for
reaching.
murder,
Now you're reaching.
Because if the other person,
No, they wouldn't,
doesn't
because they
have a
would
weapon-
if they unalive
No, they
someone.
would.
If they, what do you mean? Don't try to speak that negative on my son. If someone unalives someone,
I'm not negative.
you can't. You guys act like just because you have
somebody.
you
because
act
they're
like
running
just
at them
because you
with
have a
an
gun,
AK-47,
bro.
They're doing life.
Just because you have a gun doesn't mean you can go around shooting people. Like, what is wrong with you guys? If it's self-defense, let me tell you where the argument is. The argument is very, very simple. The argument is if you have a reasonable belief that there's a risk to your life, then you can shoot someone. You can't just go around. No one's saying that you can go around and shoot someone.
Amy's just give you a scenario where a guy was running at your son, or let's say not your son, because I don't want to use your kids, right? But it's you. A guy was running at you.
Yeah.
You thought he had something in the hand.
Yeah.
You pulled it out, you shot him. You find out all it was a note he was giving to his mum down the road, and you thought it was a knife. Next thing, you're now serving 25 years.
Wait, why would I believe that he's going to...
He could have,
Because you've seen him with his hand. Say, you've seen
this
him
is such a strange scenario.
in his hoodie pocket.
Right.
And then you shot at him thinking he was a threat, and he was only giving a note to his mum.
Yeah. Then I would go to
Does
prison.
that make it realistic?
I would go to
A realistic
prison.
attempt at self-defense.
I would go to prison unless I can prevent a case to the court that I genuinely believe that my
Which you're
life
not
is.
going to do.
Then I would go to prison, and rightfully so.
Are you allowed to shoot when you're drunk, alcohol?
Well, I think it depends on the state, but I think that there are laws around reckless discharge of firearms. So if you're just drunk shooting,
If you kill somebody, if you hit somebody with a gun and you have any alcohol in your system, it's automatically a no-no.
no, not necessarily. It depends on the circumstances.
So you can actually kill someone while you're pissed.
It depends on the circumstances.
Because you have a diminished responsibility. Would that be your argument?
No, it's not about that. It's about if you... Why do you guys keep ignoring the part about when somebody is a threat to your life? You can't just shoot people.
Yeah, that's why.
It's
that's
only
what we're
when
saying.
someone is a
If
threat to
you
your life.
have-
Okay.
Say you've had half a bottle of Hennessy or whatever.
Yeah.
You see someone running towards you, you shoot them because
Yeah.
you're in drink.
Yeah.
They're not actually running towards you, they're running past you, but you've deemed them a threat.
Yeah.
Is that then your defence because it's diminished
If
responsibility?
you present that as your defense, you're going to prison. Many people go to
Yeah, you
prison
are.
for shooting people, and they claim
Because firearms are
self-defense.
stupid.
All right then.
Yeah, they claim self-defense, and the judge says, "Oh no, 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 no," and the jury says, "No, no, 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 no."
You've got a guy right. I'm going to use the scenario we've been using all day.
All right.
Someone runs at you, or someone pulls out a gun.
Guys, you realize there's something called the courts in the United States, right?
Yeah. Check this.
So they are the
Courts
best
is that.
place to
Courts
deal
is
with disputes regarding whether somebody
check
was a
this,
threat to
bro.
someone's
Come
life.
on, Scenario.
Are they though?
Yeah, I think the courts in the USA can.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, they have
How
ballistics
fast
experts.
can
Like,
you pull out your gun? You've got your gun in your pocket, yeah. A guy pulls a gun out on you. As soon as you reach for that gun, you're dead. So where's the self-defense?
that would be unlucky, but at least I didn't go out like a sucker, like a UK citizen, going, "Oh, where's my pepper spray?"
No, go on, bro. Come on. You've got your gun in your pocket.
The thing
What
is,
self-defense
in America,
scenario
the
would
Wild
you
West
use?
died in like the 19...
What self-defense
1900s.
scenario would you use that gun?
Bro, as soon as I become a US citizen, I will have a gun on me like my flipping sack.
Okay,
and
and then
tip.
someone pulls a gun out
It's
on
gonna
you.
be on me like my
But
nuts.
someone pulls a gun out on you. As soon as you reach for your gun, you're dead. What happens?
Then I'm dead. Like, what the hell?
So what I'm saying.
This guy, you guys coming up with all the hypotheticals.
What
Bro, remember, you're talking about when you talk
What
when you talk about the USA is so crazy. Oh my God, yeah, it's the #1 economy in the world.
No,
So
the
something's
USA is
working.
like a lot.
Something is
economy,
working.
that's
That
not
it's going over your head. You're like something. Oh, this is so crazy, so crazy. If it's so
The
crazy,
economy
how has
is
they
nothing to do with
created?
guns.
If it's so crazy, how have they created the best country in the world?
They really haven't.
Oh, you guys in
Who
denial.
created their country?
They created their country, and guess what? If it wasn't for guns,
No,
their
they
country wouldn't
didn't.
exist. Yeah, they did.
Do you mean the whole, the bloody...
The American
July,
American
Boston Sea
Revolution.
Harbour, all that sort of thing? Is that
Yeah,
what
the
you're
American
referring to?
Revolution.
Won their
Yeah,
independence?
and the UK didn't really create the United
the American
States.
Revolution.
Yeah, If it wasn't for guns, there
The
would be no
American
America.
Revolution.
Yeah.
How could
Which started the
okay, then.
Boston Harbour tea incident, everything like that, and that's
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they kicked us out, the UK out, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we'd have done a better
No.
job? Do you think we'd have done a better job if we had the amount of countries you have?
The amount of what?
Sorry to interject again, but can you do me a favour quickly, Ammo? Can you do me a favour?
Yeah.
Can you look up who actually started the battle with the British at Boston Harbour?
I mean, why does that even matter? I think it was. I think it
Because
was the
wasn't
Americans.
It was the French.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. I didn't know that.
What I'm trying to say is, yeah.
That's why they got the Statue of Liberty.
Do you
Okay,
believe?
sure.
do you
America
believe-
didn't make America, the French did.
Well, no, because
The
they
UK.
fought the war for independence. So they.
The UK.
No,
The
they
Americans
got to
did
the
create
extent,
America,
and
that's-
then the French guy that was running the
Cool.
French
They
army
whatever.
in
They started the
Boston.
conflict. Whatever. They started the conflict. At the end of the day, it's still a sovereign nation that exists because of weapons.
And they would have lost if it wasn't the French. And America isn't a sovereign nation.
Yo, Amma,
Okay.
check this.
Sure.
Do you believe? I forgot my question. Now. Do you believe England or United Kingdom, if it had the same amount of land and the same amount of people, would we run it better than you guys? Because
No, it wouldn't be better. It wouldn't be better because
look, no, hear me out. We're a little island, but yeah, we dominate. We're well respected in the world, aren't we? So how can a little island work? Let's be honest, so small. How can it have so much power?
yeah, do you know how it has so much power? That's a good question. Do you know how it has so much power? Because when it was really successful, it had principles that were just like the United States. And since those principles have been removed, it's been declining and declining and declining. The reason for the decline in the UK is because they won't accept that America is doing what it did in the past better. In the sense that before, when the UK was so great, they had the right to bear arms. Before, when the UK was so great, people weren't being arrested for all silly things like how they are now. It wasn't all these woke
The
politics.
fact
There
that
wasn't
the
socialism.
UK
So the UK was
about
better.
America says a lot.
The UK was better when it was more like America. Think about that.
Listen, I'll give you.
Think
this.
about that. No.
Listen,
Think about it.
I get it. You know what? I give you the free speech stuff, 100%. Okay, we
The
don't have
fact
any free
that
speech. We would have any
France
free speech.
gave America just. Sorry.
Sorry, we don't have any free speech here. We don't anymore. That's it. We've lost that. And people say we do. We don't. People go off for prison for faithful posts. It's no good.
Mate,
we lose.
in about 2 years after I've converted you to the Church of Amma, you're gonna be chilling in Texas with a flipping 4-5 on your lap, sipping a samosa, on about, oh yeah, I've got a tan here, haven't I? Yeah. Don't have to go to the tanning bed anymore, do
Why
I?
would you be sipping a samosa in Texas when that's definitely not an American drink? And you know, America is only American drinks.
Because, bro, it's almost like
You can't have
it's the most
samosas in America,
multicultural
you
place.
accept
It's the most multicultural place
immigrants.
in the world, maybe.
Listen,
No, it's not. That's
I
Birmingham. It's
disagree with the gun
literally
stuff, but
the
I'll say this before
city in the world of culture.
No,
I
that's
disagree
Birmingham's the
with
most
the gun-
multicultural city in Europe.
I just want to say this and I'm off, right? I disagree with the gun stuff because I believe
Don't
they
be
can
wrong,
fi-
Birmingham's a shithole, but
they can fix that. But overall, genuinely, I think the United States, with Donald Trump now in power, is doing good.
Hey!
And I'm serious, guys. You can't say, look at Keir Starmer, he's running it into a ground. Listen, so yeah, overall, United States are better at the minute, okay? So,
No. All right, fair play to you, mate. Though.
all right.
Fair
Cheers,
play,
bro.
mate.
Have a good night, yeah? Cheers, bro.
Yeah. I can't believe it's 4 a.m. Amy, ain't it past your bedtime, Doc?
I know.
It's past
It
your
is a
bedtime.
little,
Doc.
yeah.
Past my flipping bedtime, innit?
Just a little bit, it's fine.
We got like, how many requests have we got? Jesus. Okay, let's just do a free for all now, because like I'm about to go to bed. I want everyone to get their little saying. Guys, argue amongst yourselves.
There we go.
What's up, lads and lassies?
Hello. Here y'all talking about Americans, man. I thought it was,
Stand on business, cuz.
Oh, we finally got some Americans.
How are we doing? I'm British as well, but I just
can I ask y'all a question?
I've just gone through the whole immigration process to become a resident here, so I'd love to talk about it.
Resident in UK or USA? You mean?
Can I just throw a little reply to
As long as you come legally.
RS? My family's from West Brom, so I get the best.
Hold on. Is it Boogeyman that said you just did the residence?
Ask you a question.
Hold on, Boogeyman. Is it you that said you did the residence?
Why are y'all
Who did the residence?
That's me, garlic finger.
Garlic. Hold on, guys. Garlic. Do you want to talk about your experience doing a residency and why you chose to move to the United States?
Yeah. I just wanna talk about a few things and how much of a mess I found the immigration system here of America to be.
Okay.
So, I would say the first thing to say, and I've been listening for a little bit, is you talked about vaccinations. So, are you vaccinated, or are your children vaccinated? What's the current situation with that?
I'm super anti-vax.
Okay. Can I just say, in order for
That
you
didn't ask his
to
question.
become
Are you
a resident-
vaccinated?
For
Is that
you
like
to
a
become-
political reason,
No.
or is it just like your personal
Listen.
preference?
Hold on, let him finish.
Forget politics, forget anything. In order for you to become a resident of the United States of America, you will have to have vaccinations.
Nah, you can do a religious
Telling you
exemption.
this, there is no fucking way you can get your head around it.
Yeah, there is. You can do a religious exemption.
Vaccinations.
You can do a religious
I'm telling
exemption.
you, if you are not vaccinated, you will need to spend at least $1,000.
Are you talking about the COVID vaccine?
No, I'm
You're
talking about my
talking
COVID
about-
vaccine.
Oh, you are talking.
About mumps and rubella.
So the COVID vaccine requirement is no longer. The COVID vaccine is no longer a thing.
Get a lift? Do you want me to go get my?
Hold on, calm down, bro. First of all, let me just address your points. The COVID vaccine one is no longer a thing. I was vaccinated when I was a child.
No,
for,
he said
for-
MMR as well.
Yeah. I was vaccinated when I was a child for a lot of the other vaccines, but you can do a religious exemption if you want to.
That is
At the end of the day, if we don't have
vaccination
things like
is
MMR
one
and
of 12.
polio,
I can very
at the end
easily
of the
still
day,
become a
if we don't
resident.
have MMR and polio and
You will not- they will
everything
not
else that we have to have as a kid, or don't have to have.
You don't
we
have.
as a kid.
You don't have to do any of that. You can get a religious
Yeah, it's
exemption.
herd
No, you
vaccination.
don't. You can, bro. Listen carefully.
It's herd
Do you
vaccination.
know what a religious
Tell you
exemption
what,
is?
Vaccinations in the US are optional, but if you want to like go
Do you know what a religious exemption is, dude? Jesus Christ.
I have wasted a year of my life doing this immigration process.
Do you know what religious
You
exemption
haven't
is?
even been to America in your fucking life.
Okay, let's drop you down because you're just talking shit.
Yeah, a lot of your
I've been to, bro. I've lived in America for almost a year. What are you talking about, you dumbass, bro? Get off my live, man. Sorry, guys.
I'm
Carry
really
on.
sorry to interrupt, but do you, like, with the whole MMR and the whole polio and everything like that we generally get as kids in the UK, it's done because of herd vaccination. It's the same as you would do with
I don't even want to talk about
herd
vaccines because I don't want to get the live ban. Let's just talk about
No, but
America.
like, if you...
Like, don't worry.
but in
I know
America,
the science
they
behind
are
vaccines.
way more, like, restrictive on their vaccines. They are more, like, I don't know how to word it.
How
but
do you
really,
feel as
you
a,
have to
as
have
a
it
black
as a
man,
group?
That driving your car, if you was to get pulled over by a police officer in America, if you reach for your glove box, that you're probably more likely to get shot than a white person. How does that make you feel?
It really depends the state. I'm gonna be honest.
That's absolutely.
I'm in Oklahoma right now.
When you say more,
5 years since Georgia.
when you say more likely, are you implying that there is a high likelihood that that would happen? Because there isn't.
I think what they're actually implying is that in America you have such a thing that does exist as white privilege, and the most
I
privileged
would
people
just say
are
that
the males.
I'm in
Because
Oklahoma right now, in the south, and I would just say that I've been told by a lot of people. I've spent some time with lots of different people there,
Hey,
but
say something.
I would say that I've been told that that is a big deal in the south. Yeah.
Okay, it's not a big deal. So, but carry on.
I would say in the 60s maybe, but I wouldn't say now. I mean, I live in the South.
no,
so.
but in comparison to the UK, let's face it.
I mean,
when it
there's
comes
no
to
doubt that
I mean, the
American
UK is not really in
policing,
the UK right now. There's not that many ethnic
no, they
Europeans
have that
in
issue
the
than
UK.
white people, is what I'm saying.
No, to be fair though, in the UK, when it comes to police, if you were to get pulled over, you'd be asked for your driving license, and that is pretty much it to prove who you are. They can check your insurance against the vehicle, everything like that. But in America, they're not even going to do that. They're going to effectively racially profile you.
I think you're just projecting a lot.
That's not how it goes. I don't know who told you that.
It does. No, it does seem from things that I've seen
On TV.
everything like, okay,
I've been
maybe
pulled
the
over
internet
these
is
On
always
TV.
true, everything
Not
like that,
how
I
it
will
is.
admit. But
Yeah, but you're
It
white,
does
right?
seem to be.
Yeah, I'm white. They're still gonna pull
I'm
they
white, I'm
pull
very
your
white, I'm
plate.
ginger, of
They
course
check
I'm
if
white.
you have any warrants. And
Gingers are black.
And if you have
I was
probable
talking to
cause,
George.
like if you have a bunch of weed in your car and you're white, you know, they're still gonna pull you over. They're not gonna do it because you're black.
Yeah.
Guys, try to keep the discussion a bit more PG because I don't want the live to get banned. But can we talk about the USA and the UK? Because are we talking about racism right now? Like,
profile you based on if you're driving, say you're driving a beat up old Subaru Forester in a really high value place that's, you know, like a
do
high
the
value
fantasies
estate.
ever end with you guys? You guys literally just like, oh my god, I saw this online. This is gonna happen. Like, just live in reality for a second. Oh my god, and then they're gonna get the gun, and then you're gonna get shot in school, and then someone's gonna pull you over in the car, and then they're gonna like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this doesn't. This is not a thing.
The black people I spoke to in America don't believe that.
Get some better black friends, please.
You're very out of touch, Amy.
You're talking about them like, bruh. Come on,
I'm
man.
I'm not basing this on anything other than if you're driving a beat up crap box of a car in a place where it doesn't seem that car would fit into the people that live there, you're going to be basically stereotyped on the fact that you're driving.
Cap.
Yeah,
you're gonna get pulled.
Yeah,
No,
definitely
no,
suspicious
that's you projecting. You're just projecting.
Cost of living is
It's not though.
You are projecting. I'm going to, bro. Listen, I'm going to the South in 3 weeks. I'll let you know how it goes.
Taxes compared to most states in America have between about 30 to 50%. So
Just quickly, in reply to Linda, my family in America live in the Bronx, so yeah, I have been to America.
in the
Oh,
Bronx.
Lord.
Oh, I feel so bad for you. They live in the Bronx.
Oh,
Yeah, me
Lord.
too.
That is not the best area.
It's a very hard
If
thing
you've
to
never
be an
been on the
English
New
person in the
York
Bronx.
Metro, it is so bad. Like, I'll give it a little bit about American public transportation. It's horrible. We need to work on it,
Doesn't exist in the South.
especially in New York, because it's just all over the place. And they had to put the National Guard in just for people to pay their $5 fare.
Bro, are you telling me you don't like catching a contact high when you get on the subway? from your resident.
At like 6 to 7 in the morning to try to go to work when I was. It was bad.
To be fair, Amber, let's face it, the most said UK phrase is, can you smell weed?
Exactly. That's like.
What do you think about
Oh, I
cost of
don't.
living in the USA?
It's slightly higher than the UK.
Yeah.
But
That's one
is,
thing
I
I've
would
noticed.
hire,
My
but if you live
grocery
out in the
bill here
West,
is a lot more
it's
than
not
it is
that
back home.
I've-
But
there's-
gas is cheaper here.
there's sites where you can kind of balance everything, and where I want to live in the USA will be much cheaper for me.
Yeah, I think the
It's
gas.
really just housing
I'm gonna have to
prices.
jump
But
off
if you live in
because apparently it is
Texas,
my
then it's
bedtime.
Oh yeah, off to bed, duck. No, I'm joking. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate
But
it.
it was lovely chatting to you.
Yeah, nice chatting.
I appreciate you joining me.
Yeah, what was you saying? Sorry, I don't know what your name. Meg? Is it Meg?
No, I was just gonna say I've noticed that the groceries are a bit more expensive here, but the gas is so much cheaper. So everything
Yeah.
sort of evens itself out in a weird way. It's
Yeah,
not
low key.
That different, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so did you move to Oklahoma?
Yes.
Of
Yeah.
all are you in?
So my wife is from Oklahoma.
Are you in OKC though?
Yes. No. I'm in. I'm close to OKC, but I'm kind of close to Tulsa.
Damn, bro. You moved from the UK to fug it out in Tulsa.
Well, we're not even in Tulsa. We're really in the sticks out here. We live in the middle of
Tulsa.
nowhere, to be honest.
We're really out there.
That country is hell.
Where would
You're in,
you
like,
like to
2
move
hours.
to, Emma? In
Uh,
the United States?
So I'm going to South Carolina in 3 weeks. I'll be in South Carolina, North Carolina,
That's where I'm from.
I've
Georgia.
literally just been there. It's lovely.
Where did you go in South Carolina?
That's where I'm from.
Did you go to Charleston?
I've been to Myrtle Beach, and then we went to.
Oh, you went to Myrtle Beach.
Goldsboro,
Myrtle
which
Beach.
is
That's a
kind
really
of-
nice touristy spot.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach was super.
I thought Myrtle Beach had crime.
It was like a much better Great Yarmouth.
But I thought Myrtle Beach had loads of crime. That's why I kind of wanted to avoid
From
it.
South Carolina.
Oh,
I
really?
live in one of the most crime cities in America, St. Louis.
Oh, Lord. Is that Missouri?
It's
Yeah, I'm from South Carolina.
yes, Missouri.
Well, Boogeyman, where do you
Chicago.
live in
I live in the
South
murder
Carolina?
I'm from Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach, man. It's not what it used to be.
Yeah,
It's,
the
far
crime's
more
rising.
dangerous than Myrtle Beach than it used to be. It used to be a
Really?
good,
Yeah, that's what I heard.
yeah.
Yeah, I just probably I went to the touristy places though, so that's probably why.
Yeah, I heard the crime is bad. I was gonna go through there. I was like, nah.
We call it, here in South Carolina, we call it Murder Beach.
Damn.
Ooh.
Wait, what's it like living in St.
back there.
What's it like living in St. Louis? That must be crazy.
What's like?
Well, I don't live in the city anymore, but I used to live in the city. It's really the area. The homeless people are mainly the issue, and that live around the metro. Because the amount of shootings on the metro is horrible that nobody even uses the public transportation.
Why didn't you
But
move?
The atmosphere, it's beautiful. The people, they're amazing. You know, Mardi Gras. If you've been to Mardi Gras in New Orleans or St. Louis, there's
Oh, is that where it
celebrations,
is?
festivals.
I thought it was in New Orleans.
Hey,
They have one in New Orleans and they have one in St. Louis.
Damn, I did not know that.
Because they're both French cities.
Oh yeah, St. Louis. Louis the what is it? 14th.
So there's a lot of
13th. What is it?
in there. Yeah, we have a whole, I guess, art hill dedicated to him.
Yeah, Louis. Yeah, because that was what was it? French Louisiana. Was Missouri part of Louisiana? Like previously.
Yeah, St. Louis was part of the Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah. Interesting.
So it's like all together. But like in terms of like crime in there, because I know a lot of Europeans and Americans like to do crime rates. It's bad to a certain degree because if you go to North St. Louis out in Illinois, it's way horrible than you go to St. Louis inside the city. We have a whole issue where the federal government of Missouri, blocked the city of Missouri, their police department. They took control of it because the people, like the mayor and the people living in St. Louis, they can't pretty much get the police to do anything there. So they had to put in a whole new government out in Jefferson City, Missouri, to take control of the police department from a mayor to go do their job there. Because in 2020, there was a big riot about George Floyd. They went out and they, burned people's businesses. And
You guys still going on about that?
We're pretty mad about that.
You guys still going on about the BN?
Yeah, it's like
It was kind of bad in some places.
Nah, I
Especially
know.
if you're a small business owner.
No, I know. True. I shouldn't even laugh at that. That's
Like,
kind of sad.
regardless of politics. But that and the shootings over there are pretty bad. But the people and the stuff you can go do there, like we have a free public zoo where you don't have to pay anything to go there.
Is that the main attraction? Is the public zoo just like Main Street in St. Louis? What the
I went there today. It's not really Main Street. It's kind of been wrecked by a tornado right now.
Oh
So
shit.
like everything's thrown over the place. It's like $33 million in property damage. So if you go into St. Louis City, it's like trees down everywhere.
Out,
It's
out
a
of the
very
zoo
nice
and into
spot.
the jungle.
We have free to go there. They have a lot of different animals you want to see. We have a free science center. So if you want to learn science,
Bro works for the state. State tourism
most people in
department.
America can go into universities and go to lectures. You can go sit into a lecture.
Wait, what damage was there in
I don't
St.
know if you've
Louis?
done that
Was that from the Asheville tornado?
What damage? It was
the Asheville hurricane.
EF3 last week tornado.
Oh, another tornado. Oh.
So if you could search it up and look at the damage. I have some pictures myself. But
Is Missouri in Tornado
yeah,
Alley?
Pretty.
Oh yes, in Tornado Alley, innit? It's next to Kansas,
we had the
right?
worst- Yeah, Joplin. Did you hear about the Joplin tornado in 2011?
Nah, I don't really know much about like like Kansas, Missouri. I don't really know much about that little region. That's like the place I know least
Yeah,
about.
we had an EF5
And Oregon as well. I don't really know much
the
about.
worst tornado you could possibly get in
Damn.
2011, and it like decimated most of Joplin, Missouri.
Hold on,
It's
let me
a
see.
really good
Let me see
documentary.
where Missouri is.
That,
So wait, Tornado Alley. Yeah, I think is this Tornado Alley or is I
Tornado
think
Alley's more in more in Oklahoma and like Kansas City, but Missouri still
okay.
gets it.
So it still gets it. Okay.
We
Yeah.
have like a terrible climate system to where it was like it could be 100 degrees one week and then it could snow the next week.
I got you, bro.
So
But
our
bro,
weather
you're kind of shilling. You're kind of shilling Missouri right now. But the debate is more UK vs USA. So if you don't have,
In general, I'll stop talking about Missouri.
yeah, like bro, like go Missouri crazy.
Missouri is kind of a bad place to live in, but it's also a good place to live in. I gotta diss on my own state. There's some states you can diss on. There's some states that are absolutely amazing.
What's the best state in your
What's
opinion?
the best state out there?
Yeah.
This is a really good one because a lot of people like to think about outside the U.S. They think, oh, there's New York, you got Illinois, and you got California. There's a lot more places out there than just those. The best in general state to be at, I would say, would be Texas.
Okay.
You know,
That's valid.
housing cost is very low there. You have a lot of freedom to do things. You know, freedom of speech, freedom to open carry. I don't know, education's very good there, you know, in a booming economy. And they also want to separate from the U.S. too. Because they're making a lot of money and their GDP is crazy. That in California is one of the highest GDPs in America.
Yeah, I got that. I wanna go visit Texas soon because I think Texas is gonna be the #1 economy in America in like what 30 years they say or something like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's very booming. You know, you can make a lot of money there for jobs like Boeing, and I'll put out Boeing in St. Louis employs over maybe 20% of the population of St. Louis. So they have over like I don't know 100,000 people.
Bro's an encyclopedia. I'm gonna
and Boeing like makes those planes. You know,
I'm gonna bring
there's a lot
some.
of job opportunities.
I'm gonna bring some other people up. You have given a lot of information, but thanks for the. You know what? I'm actually gonna go
no
soon,
problem.
so but thanks for the information. I appreciate it. Okay, now we're really in the like little lottery because Riley's back because Riley's got a crush on me. Right, Riley, just tell me, invite me out because I know that's why you're back.
Hey, I just want to talk about your immigration process and vaccinations.
Oh, I knew you was gonna talk about some neurotic stuff like that. Like,
Neurotic, you have to take vaccines to be a resident here.
you're gonna start yapping it. You're gonna start yapping again.
No, my husband did it. I know it. I know the process.
So you got married?
Yeah, I'm married. I'm married to a British citizen. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, I am.
Why did he leave the UK?
He left the UK to be with me, but we're moving to the UK in the next 4 years.
Oh lord, save, bro! What the hell?
But just so you know,
What
you
the
have to get
helly?
your HPV vaccine. You have to get your COVID vaccine.
I have to get my HPV vaccine. Are you sure?
Yeah, you will. Yeah, and you'll have to pay about $1,000 for it.
A man gets a HPV vaccine?
Yeah, men
that a
can
thing?
carry HPV.
Let me see.
What?
Let me
Men
check
can
that.
carry HPV.
Let me check that. Do male HPV vaccine?
Men carry HPV. What?
I don't believe in that bullshit.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you still have to get it, so that's okay.
I don't think I do because I'm just
Men
gonna do a
men
religious
are more
exemption.
likely to get HPV than women, just so you know.
HPV, by the way.
Yeah, HPV until
yeah,
you're chronically ill with it.
HPV.
Until your twins are chronically ill with it. Yeah.
HPV.
But yeah, you'll have to pay per person about $1,000.
Why?
just
Why?
for
Why
COVID.
isn't your man taming you with this bad behavior you're
he's
showing
taming.
online?
Come here, Chris.
Oh yeah, call him over.
Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm
call him
talking about
over.
it.
Yeah,
we can talk about
that
it.
little, yeah, he's gonna marry you, and then you're gonna he moved over to
I
be
mean,
with
we're
you.
married.
Lord have mercy. Why did you do that? Lord have mercy. She wasn't my attention. You got a man over there. What's going on? What the helly? Gary says, "Why is HPV in quotation marks?" Don't worry, that's for another live.
Okay, I am so sorry. I really like that girl. I'm not gonna lie.
Really? She's charming, isn't she? She's
Listen.
she's the epitome of femininity.
Hold on a second. If you actually listen to what she was saying, she's actually on point.
Actually, that's the smartest woman I've ever spoken to.
Listen, bro.
That's the smartest woman I've ever spoken to. Her husband's a lucky man.
I mean, apart from the Europe thing, I mean that was a riot.
Her husband's a lucky man, isn't he?
But I just really like her. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry.
Bless her little heart.
Oh, she's G.
Bless her heart.
By the way, can I say thank you so much for letting Buzz into the box?
Is that your G?
Well,
Is that your broski?
no, absolutely not.
So what's up with you? Like, what's the crack?
What?
What's the crack, Doc?
No, absolutely not, Riley.
Riley, what is up with you, man? She wants the BBC.
It's all right, Riley. I swear to God, I'll actually I'm out of street. Absolutely. Right. Okay. So, I'm Scottish, right?
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's sitting there, they're like, oh, you're talking weapons and this, that, and the next, and I was like, oh, what the fuck is going on? I
Yeah.
like you. I'm not gonna lie. I just stumbled across you.
Cheers, mate.
So much echo. I know, Gary, I'm sorry.
Bro, it's not you guys with the echo. It's actually me. This is going to be solved tomorrow. Like, tomorrow we're going to be a real live with no echo. Because, like, if I show you, like, the little... I got the wires and the mixer, like, the mic and we can't... Because we're streaming on YouTube as well. So, like, I need to do the stream for YouTube, which, like... Guys, if you want to watch on YouTube, you can watch at State of Deception. You can see the lives on YouTube. We're building up the page.
State of Deception.
Oh, yeah, that's the name of it.
We'll give them a wee follow.
Yeah, give us a follow. At State of Deception. Yeah. Nice little play on words, isn't it? State of Deception. You see what I did there?
No, I didn't.
Riley, what is up with you? Like, why are you so obsessed with me? Why are you so obsessed with me? Sorry, you're gonna have to get vaccinated. No. You're gonna have to get vaccinated. No.
Oh, come on. Hold on. I do like you, man.
Why?
Like, I think you're quite a real person.
A real person?
Yeah, like you're speaking facts, but you also don't know your facts. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know my facts.
Look at your president, exactly.
Wait, you said I don't know my facts.
Mm-hmm.
Really? What have I been wrong about?
Thank you. Well, listen, it's 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, now you want to start dropping the excuses.
Absolutely stop it. The title, the USA is better than the UK, really?
Yeah, I stand on that.
Really?
Yeah. Come on, you know it's better.
Listen, I was putting in the comments. I was like, I've lived in the States.
Don't worry. When I'm out there, I'll fly you out. There's some places they look even nicer than the Scottish Highlands. I'll take you there. We can go to Flagstaff, Arizona.
Listen, brother, I'm going to the 51st state.
Oh yeah, where's that?
Apparently Canada.
Canada? Oh Lord.
Well, I don't know.
You just want to be cold.
I'm Scottish, so yeah.
Oh yeah, you're used to it. You want to be, you want to be in that. It's okay. There's something for everybody. There's something for everybody.
All I'm going to say is, I think everybody needs to be a little bit kinder, a little bit more respectful, and just give each other a little bit of time. And I tell you, the whole weapons chat, man. I was like, nah, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So,
That's that young energy.
Who's this? Isaac, darling, I know. Totally get it.
No. We got to keep it fiery. We need making content here.
We're gonna keep
I want the
it
smoke. I want the smoke at 4:30 a.m.
I don't know. Do you follow Kirk?
Who's that? Is that the guy that? Wait, is it Charlie Kirk or something like that?
Charlie Kirk.
Is that his name, Charlie Kirk?
Yeah.
I'd seen a video of him the other day, but I don't like follow him.
Yeah. No, he gets cooked of it. He gets cooked all the time.
He gets what? Cooked. I saw him get cooked the other day on well, not really cooked. There was some guy, like some anti-Semitic guy, who was talking about Israel. Well, they say anti-Semitic, but he was talking to the guy about Israel or whatever. He was like Israel controls this and that, and then Charlie Kirk was talking about the Bible, and I'm just like, man, these nerds. Like, I'm a nerd, but I'm like, this is really nerdy right now. What I was listening to.
Well, I do appreciate. No, he doesn't. Sorry, I do actually read all the comments. I'm actually really bad for that. Sorry. Amma. Is it Amma? Or
Yeah, Amma. What's red Fraggle? What does that mean?
How old are you?
28.
Fraggle Rock.
Oh, that's like Fraggle Rock or something like that. What is it?
Yeah.
I seen someone talk about that, but I don't know. It's like a TV show for kids, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Lol. Hey, that looks like me. It looks like me. That's why you like me. He's got the same hair as me. Oh man.
Red Fraggle was my favourite.
Oh my gosh. It literally looks like me. That's mad.
What is it? A doozer?
You what?
A doozer?
A doozer? What's that?
Oh, it's a Fraggle Rock.
Oh yeah, I'm not familiar. This is some old school ish. I thought you was young. You look about 25, Doc.
Listen, brother, I told you I'm old. I turn 45 next month.
Wow. Can't tell.
No. Yeah, no, honestly, I stole somebody's picture.
No, that's you.
No, it's not.
Oh really?
It actually is.
Oh, jeez, flex on him. Jeez. You wanted me to say, oh yeah, that who's that celebrity? Is that a model? You wanted me to say, you got a model online. That's why you picked a model. You just Google pretty woman and put them on.
Anyway. I honestly, I actually love that conversation. Thank you for letting Buzz in there. I mean, he antagonizes the fuck out of me.
Oh really?
Yeah, he does.
How so?
Karan, are you talking to me or Anna?
They're probably talking to me because people, when they first come, they get mad because I said it's better, and they're like, "Oh, you never been there."
So you've lived in the States, yeah?
I've lived there for a couple months. Yeah, like I'd say close to a year altogether.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Yeah, you can get to know a place in about a year, right?
No, you don't say mad. No, not so.
No, you don't. This is just how I am, bro.
Sorry. So whereabouts did you live? Now this is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I lived in the States as well, and see when you were talking about like weapons in schools, I was like, listen, I taught in America. I was like, no, bro.
Oh, you scared?
I was literally losing my mind. I was like, nah.
Oh, I don't know, man. Like, well, I was in New York City. I was in Brooklyn, so you know, yeah. It's not like Atlanta with the weapons, but it's like gentrified in Brooklyn now.
No, well, we'll not go down the weapons route again.
Yeah, not for the faint-hearted, eh?
But, I want to say, I genuinely wish you all the best when you go to the States, darling.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Actually, Tuesday, I'm going to drop down because.
Oh yeah, all right.
Well, yeah, I can sit here and absolutely waffle.
Mate, we love you, so you can do whatever you want, Doc. On my live, when you come on, I'm rolling out the red carpet. Red like the red Fraggle.
Everyone's like, let me in. Look at them. Just drop.
I'm famous.
Listen, honestly, I honestly, do you know what? I think you're a really lovely guy. I cannot lie.
Oh, cheers. Appreciate that.
Let me in, uncle.
You what?
Stop saying let me in, uncle.
Oh yeah, okay.
Let them in.
Well, you want to speak to someone else?
Yeah, go on.
I thought you loved me.
I love you.
Oh shit! I can't even see his request. Who's this? Let's get somebody else up. I
Oh, thank you, homegrown.
Hello?
Hello, you're right.
Yeah, I'm alright. Why are you begging it to Americans on live, bro?
Basically,
At 4 a.m.
I have no friends and no girls like me, so I think maybe if I appeal to America, then an American girl will like me, and then they'll let me
Really?
stay
Wanna
around
go
there.
that low?
Yeah, that's how low I am.
Okay, wait. Do you really have no actual points on why the USA is better than the UK?
How old are you?
Actually.
Sounds like it's past your bedtime.
How old are you?
I'm old enough to be your father.
Wow, what is going on here?
Anyways, I just want to say the UK is way better than America.
How?
Pick up G.
Because Americans are retarded. Have you seen?
Hey,
this?
hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. This is my live, bro. Don't get the live banned. You're trying to detonate a bomb on my live.
Okay, sorry.
Bye, girl.
Yeah. Warning.
Number one, Americans' education system is in the mud. They don't have any healthcare. Their president is fucking. Is bad. So,
See,
those are 3 points.
Hold up. Let me ask you a question, right? What city are you from?
London, of course.
Okay, so do you think London is better than like the major cities in the United States?
I think when the.
Oh, what happened? Oh, TikTok Panda. It says a guest in your live has violated our hate speech. Wow, TikTok Panda. That's so sad.
Of course.
Yeah, naughty.
See,
This is my TikTok. I'm a good
watch your
boy.
language, girl. Come on.
We don't tolerate bullying, discrimination, harassment of any kind on this live.
You can't say that word.
Yeah. Not on my live. I police bad language. TikTok. I am an ambassador. I'm an ambassador for the rights of the mentally challenged. So
really?
Riley was here before, and I was speaking. I told you how much I liked her. Think about it.
I like Riley, right?
Yeah, I'm an ambassador for the mentally challenged. I don't want people using that kind of language on my life.
It was
Riley.
thank you, Asta. Amen. It was the whole Europe thing that got me, Riley. With all due respect, darling, it was the Europe thing. I was like, Europe is not a country.
I know.
It's a continent.
Man, Riley. I think, like when you travel out somewhere to meet someone, it's like it makes you like bond with them a lot more. So I feel like obviously Riley's husband has come all the way over to be with her, and he might be like flipping out. I'm stuck here now. So like he's stuck with her now.
Well, we were talking about Sweden, and I was absolutely in for that. Look at you flicking her. What's that?
Should we let Riley back in for a wild end? Riley, don't say anything naughty. Riley.
Hello, my friend.
Oh!
Hey.
So you guys are gonna.
Respectfully,
You guys.
we love your account. I watch all the time, and I do love you.
Oh, that's so
Just sending my
sweet.
love.
So we're all big happy
You have
family
the
now.
best time here,
We-
because we don't. But I hope you have the best time.
Oh, you don't think I'm
Wait,
gonna have
who
a good
wants to
time in
debate
America?
me? Cozy, come on in, King.
Oh, you want to debate someone?
Someone wants to debate me.
Oh, well, drop me. But
Okay, Red Fraggle. Don't worry. Next time you come out, we're getting the red carpet for
We
you.
love you.
See you later, Red Fraggle.
Take care, my darling.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care. What's up?
Hey, you remember me?
What, off this live?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, mate. I've spoke to like thousands of people on this now, so.
I know. I haven't been here in like 3 months. Hey, so
Okay.
Riley, who do you support? You support the UK, right?
I support. I don't honestly. I genuinely think that. No, stop. Let me talk. I think that
she's a
there's,
leftist.
Both negatives to both countries. I don't think one is better than the other, and I think that there are both things that we can work on. But I think that the things that have been talked about in the live can be seen as positives versus negatives.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna say the things that I've seen people mainly say when it comes to the U.S. and why the U.S. is so much worse.
Yeah, and I'll talk on it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, pew-pews, sorry. Let's say pew-pews and all that.
Yeah.
Let's look back to where Britain before they banned their firearms inside their state.
Yeah,
if you look
definitely.
at right now our current gun crime versus the UK before they had banned, who had a higher crime rate?
I'm going to be so 100% honest. I don't know.
I don't
because
know.
I don't have a laptop with me.
Yeah. Hey, wait, let Trump in, because I don't know who he's supposed to let him in.
Wait,
Sorry,
what?
Riley, I don't know. I'm saying let Trump in, because I think he's trying to say the U.S. is worse. Let him out.
Oh, Trub.
What's
Okay.
that?
Who's Trub? Who's Trub? Hi, Trub, baby.
What's up? What's up? I just wanted to debate and say why America is so much better than the UK.
Okay, well, we're gonna let Cozy speak first.
All right, yeah. I'll win my turn.
Yep, you're
Yeah,
next.
Alright, so,
Riley,
so also
Riley, do you want to be my
another thing we
PA?
like to say is 'cause
Sorry,
we do
what'd
have
you
the-
say?
I said, do you want to be my PA?
What's that?
My personal assistant.
Yes.
Yes.
Let me be it, baby.
Come on.
Because once again, I don't respect your opinion, but I do respect you as a person.
Do you
And that's
do you,
me.
Alright.
do you respect my opinions?
It's out of thumbnail. Anyways, when it comes to this thing, all I gotta say is we have the Orange in office. If you know who I'm talking about, I do not support him as a person, but I truly do think he has things that he's doing correctly, but then he has those things he's doing incorrectly.
I don't like
For
him,
example,
no.
He's deporting people that shouldn't be deported.
Exactly, and he's
also
deporting
by
people who have their
arresting-
green cards who shouldn't be deported.
And there's also a lot of. Hey, by the way, Riley, can you mute?
Nah, it's
Yeah,
not that.
you,
It's me with the echo. Don't
I
worry.
don't know
Is
if
you-
it's me.
It's-
I'm gonna be so
it's-
real.
All right, but yeah, he's deporting the wrong people. Like there's stories of where African Americans that were born here and also have their citizenship have been deported to countries they're not even from. Same thing with Mexicans getting deported
And I'm
and they
gonna
have
be
their
so
green
for
card.
real. That's happening to white people. That just happened to someone from Denmark.
Yeah, who's Danish?
He was Danish, and he just got deported after he's had his green card for years.
Yeah, but there's official documents on
That
this. If you
goes
don't
back.
believe me. There's official
The
documents.
thing is, obviously, if you're deporting people, there's going to be issues with deportation. These have always been issues, like they accidentally
you also
deported the wrong
should check their
guy
green
and stuff
cards
like
and check
that.
their citizenship and go through their
And
documents before
people
you
who have
deport
done
them.
it legally. My husband has done it legally, and the fact that he could leave this country and come back and be deported is crazy to me.
Come on, man. Really?
If the government, hey, look, if me as a person, right, if I can deport somebody and if I don't check the documents, okay, cool, right? But the government has all this access to super computers, all that bullshit. You telling me they can't take 30 seconds out of their time to search a name through a database and check if somebody got a green card or not?
And let
I'm
me
sure
say
there's
this.
more to the
I
case
do
than
have-
that. Like, I'm sure there are other kind of administrative like caveats that are making certain people get deported and certain not. Like for example, one of those guys, he was like an
I
MS-13
do
gang member
have
and
a
stuff like that.
immigration
That makes it a
attorney.
bit
I
more.
look, does he?
Oh
wait, Lewis, let me hold on, Lewis. Do you support Trump? Because you
There
just
are
said
lots
after
of-
defending criminals, but doesn't Trump
No,
have
girl.
27 felonies?
Really?
No, I don't support Trump. Who said that?
No. Lewis said that in the chat. I mean, he's saying I'm trying
Oh.
to defend criminals, but Trump has 27 felonies.
Come on, man. That is
Okay.
some tired old thing you were defending. Like, bro, he didn't even do nothing, bro.
I'm just
just
saying.
leave that man
I
alone.
will say, let me say, Cozy. I agree with you, but he has never been tried in criminal court. In civil court, he has been found guilty of a felony, but we cannot use the argument that
wait.
he has been charged of
You
27
can't
felonies
get a
because he
felony in civil court. But he was found. I think he was found guilty. Did he win his
Exactly,
appeal or
that's
something?
my point.
Was it?
Also selling
He was not found
classified
guilty.
government
He was not-
documents to people in Australia.
He was not found guilty in civil court, so therefore, I don't like the argument
In
that
criminal
he
court.
has been found guilty
But he was found guilty on the fraud count.
in
wasn't
civil
he?
court. Not
No, that's a separate case. So he's got a civil. He lost a civil case,
Yes.
and then he also was found guilty for the fraud offences. But it was just a sham case, like
But
realistically.
once again, like, it wasn't through government court. It was through civil court. So I don't personally like to count that. Do I think that it's any different? No. Do I like to argue that it was civil court or he should be arrested for that? No, because once again, he was not charged through that court.
By the way, guys, I have to say I'm gonna have to go. It's literally almost 5 a.m. in the UK, and my black ass is. Oh, don't ban me, please. Myself is sitting on the line. Please, TikTok, don't ban me. I know they're gonna ban me for that.
Not you trying to go right as I can see.
Yeah, I gotta go. But we had loads of live viewers, so I think I'm gonna start doing this live later in the
Oh,
day.
you're taking the piss, bro. You were taking the piss. I haven't said my.
Okay, hey, tomorrow I'm gonna join your live, okay? And you have to accept me so we can speak our point.
No. You're my personal assistant now. So
Wait, can I sing
Okay.
you a song?
It's done.
before you go?
Okay, email
Can I sing you a
me.
song?
Send me your email address, and I'll send you an email. With my,
I'm gonna send you, I'm
yeah,
gonna send you a follow.
send
okay?
me send me your resume.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
Hey, can I sing you a song before you go?
As long as it doesn't have any expletives in it.
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Welcome to Brixton. I'm in a party with Barbies and Drillers. The kickback manners. I've seen enough to run from my brothers. Hey,
Welcome
but
to
I
Brixton.
just wanna
I'm
say
in the
that-
party with Barbies and Drillers. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that
you know
shit.
that song?
Yeah. That was a terrible accent though, bro.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Are you aware of you know what Minnesota is?
Yeah,
So, are you aware of like how good the state is? You see
I've
this?
heard it's really good, but it's too cold for me.
It ranks fourth. It is like really good on crime statistics.
Yeah.
And it's one of the only states that's able to actually mine by itself and not be dependent on other states.
Yeah, it has good healthcare as well, apparently.
Yeah, it's one of the best. It's actually also pro-choice, which I guess if you don't want to, that's great.
Nah, that sucks.
I mean, that's up to the woman. That means choice, but it's there. But yeah, I think it's one of the best states. And I think it's one of the.
Bro,
I think it beats the L50s.
Trub.
Yeah.
Minnesota, like I thought that was like where all the Somalians went.
Yeah, low key it is, but
Will I fit in? 'Cause I got-
nah, bro. These Minnesota Somalis are.
Do I need
crazy,
to
bro.
get a reverse hair transplant?
Nah, bro. These mini dude, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, if the Wolves beat the Thunder, it's over. It's over. It's gonna be like it's literally gonna be World War III.
Mad thing.
Don't you like these Minnesota Somalis are crazy, bro.
Don't say that on my live, bro. The algorithm doesn't know. It doesn't know that we love.
I mean, I'm not saying anything negative about them. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's really tricky how it goes on these lives. Once I got banned before because I said I'm not even gonna say it, but I said the country above the United States. I said people from there, and then I said that they sniff their own their farts, and then they banned me from live.
Oh shit. Well, I'm not trying to keep you too late. I apologize.
Yeah, man, I need my beauty sleep. Come on, G.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. You have a great day, sir.
Riley said, not the farts. Bro, this is crazy. Thank you, bro, Chubb. This is crazy because the YouTube live, literally, I'm going to go on OBS right now. It's going to say, how long have we been live? We didn't even get the 10,000 like mark. Man, you guys suck. No, you don't really suck. But, what's up with my likes and gifts? Where's my gifts? Who's that guy, the white guy with who does the Trump lives? How come he gets so many gifts? Where's my gifts? I have a real... Anyway. Thank you, everyone. We've been live for 3 hours, 46 minutes. I was meant to do 2 hours. Yeah, Riley, we'll talk tomorrow. Send me a DM. I need that resume, baby. Homegrown said, send me some boxing gloves. Appreciate that, G. So, yeah, I'm going to tap out now. It's been lovely, guys. It's been really just TT. But, not king. Oh, my God, I'm a king now. Amazing. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Love you all. Mwah, mwah. Okay, right. Why is it? Are you trying to get me and you done for it? YouTube doesn't have an echo. Yeah, I know the YouTube doesn't have an echo because the YouTube is connected to the mic. But tomorrow we won't have an echo because I'm going to put it as an input for the chat. So we'll be good tomorrow. All right. Thank you, YouTube viewers. Oh, there's only one guy viewing. Hi, whoever's viewing on YouTube.